All right.
How are you?
Who's down? Buenas tardes, good evening. Let's go ahead and get started. Call to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Calvo,
Present.
Ms. De La Vega,
Present.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Present.
Ms. Perez. Mr. Rodriguez is absent, Mr. Tumidor,
Present.
Mr. Zogby.
Present.
Mr. President, you have enough members to conduct business.
Thank you. Invocation given by the city clerk.
Lord, we ask for your continued blessing upon our city. We ask that you grant the members of this council wisdom and understanding in every decision they face. We also pray for the Calvo family during a difficult time of losing a loved one, Matilde Pardo. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance led by Councilmember Calvo. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a seat. Thank you. All right, meeting guidelines, please.
All lobbyists must register with the city clerk. As a courtesy to others, please refrain from using cellular telephones or other similar electronic devices in the council chamber. A maximum of 3 speakers in favor and 3 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the council on any one item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No signs or placards in support of or in opposition to an item or speaker shall be permitted within the council chamber. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on matters of public concern or on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may address the city council on any item pertaining to city business during the comments and questions portion of the meeting. A member of the public is limited to 1 appearance before the city council, and the speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The public can view public meetings on the city's YouTube page.
Comments and questions. Do we have anyone online?
First registered speaker is Barbara Canales.
Okay. Is she online or is she in the chamber?
She's in the chambers.
Okay. Miss Barbara Canales? She's not here yet. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one.
Justa Azi.
This is Hostase. We both live at 788 Southeast Park Drive, 1 block away from Three Friends Park. And she's gonna show a video.
Perfect. Who's gonna,
Maria has a video.
okay. Maria, is she here?
Yes.
Well, she's not in the chamber now?
No.
So let's go to the next person, Mr. Ozzy. Let's wait until Maria
No,
gets back.
because he also has photographs that she needs to display.
Okay. Well, is there anyone else after Miss Ozzy?
Santiago Cárdenas.
Good afternoon. Necesito un traductor.
Maria, you got it?
Gracias a este venerable consejo. Primero decirle que
No, nombre y apellido, señor, por favor. si puede.
doctor Santiago Cárdenas, 135 East 9 Street,
Dr. Santiago Cárdenas, 135 East 9th Street,
apartamento 4,
apartment 4,
Hialeah,
Hialeah.
Florida. 33 años viviendo en la ciudad.
33 years living in the city.
Bueno, el ruido es insoportable,
The noise is unbearable,
horrible.
horrible.
Dice la gente en la calle,
The people in the street say,
un chiste de mal gusto,
a
que
joke.
el consejo no se entera porque suben la ventanilla de autos lujosos.
The council doesn't hear because they have their windows up of their luxury vehicles.
No creo que eso sea cierto,
I
pero
don't think that's true, but
los invito a que vayan a mi consulta
I invite you to go to my clinic
en la calle 9 y la avenida 2
on 9th and
por
12th
las mañanas para que comprueben lo que le digo.
in the morning to verify my statements.
Es un clamor popular, estamos perdiendo la calidad de vida.
We're losing the quality of life.
Segundo tema,
Second topic,
los caballeros católicos de la ciudad, los cuales represento, quisiéramos ver
the Catholic Caballeros, which I represent.
cómo presentamos una moción
We presented a motion
para que en los primeros días de enero del año que viene
for the first days of January of next year,
se haga un random, una al azar, un estudio al azar de las personas que tiran al aire,
Sorry.
de las personas que tiran,
Okay. Celebratory fire,
celebran el 31 tirando al aire porque es totalmente ilegal.
celebrating on December 31st, which is illegal.
Quisiéramos organizarlo de manera con que fueran pocas pistolas, se riegue la voz y entonces cojan al menos un poco de
We would
temor.
like to organize, even though there will be a few weapons.
Lo haremos en los meses por venir. Y por último,
Lastly,
al venerable alcalde de la ciudad y a este distinguido consejo, quisiera
to the
recordar
mayor of the city of Hialeah and the council,
que hace 3 años estoy esperando el nombramiento de la calle alrededor de la clínica.
I've been waiting for 3 years for the naming of the street near my clinic
La clínica mía, para hacer la designación de la calle. Han
to
pasado
designate the street.
muchas personas.
There's been many people.
Mi interés es verlo en vida.
My interest is to see it while I'm alive.
No quiero recibir ese honor después de muerto.
I don't want to receive the honor after I'm dead.
Tengo 84 años,
I'm 84 years old.
3 recientes infartos,
3.
infarto de corazón,
I've had heart attacks.
un marcapaso,
I have a
cirrosis
pacemaker.
hepática, soy un hospital ambulante. No quiero demorarlo con eso, todo está hecho.
I don't
Solamente
want to delay the process. Everything is done.
recordarlo que si lo hacen lo más pronto posible, mejor para mí y para mi
Remind me
familia.
to please do it as soon as possible because it's better for me.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias, doctor.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Señor, en referencia, do I speak in Spanish?
No, in English. She can translate for you,
Perdón.
please.
Okay. And it feels kind of weird him talking Spanish. I'm talking English, but okay. So in reference to the people that like to
En
do the-
referencia a las personas
that like to do a celebratory shooting,
que les quieren hacer la celebración
que le gusta tirar al aire.
Al aire el
que le
31.
tirar al aire. Ajá.
So I had a shot in my car last year. I had a bullet hole from the 31st.
A ella le hicieron un balazo en el carro. Ujú.
El 31 de diciembre me le cayó una bala. So obviously the officers do put out a PSA about it.
Entonces, sí, los oficiales hacen como un servicio público al respecto de la situación.
But we're going to see if we can do something a little bit more, that it gets out there a little bit more and see if people get a little bit more afraid, like he said.
Pero igual hay mucho más trabajo que hacer y se puede hacer más cosas para estar más vigilante del tema.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a usted.
Muchas gracias, doctor.
We can go back to Justa Azi.
Miss
Maria, you
Miss
have that
Ozzie?
video? Okay.
Okay.
No,
Se conoce como el
Go ahead.
Se conoce como el Three Friends Park y está ubicado en la intersección de Park Drive y la 8 Court del sureste de Hialeah. Un grupo de vecinos denuncian que la ciudad le entregó parte del terreno verde a la empresa que construirá una farmacia Navarro CVS justo al frente. Y aseguran que no les informaron del cambio. Pedimos explicaciones a la ciudad.
Bueno, yo creo que eso es un malentendido, porque lo que la ciudad es que intercambió tierras con los desarrolladores del CVS y entonces la ciudad obtuvo un terreno y les dio una partecita ínfima de lo que es el parque a los desarrolladores. Con el terreno que ellos nos dieron, la ciudad está ganando terreno.
This statement is not true. Three Friends Park has lost land.
Según los planos, lo verde es el área del parque actualmente. En naranja está la porción del parque que la ciudad le dio a los urbanizadores a cambio de este otro terreno al noroeste que agregarían al parque y quedaría así.
Del parque se va a mantener el 83% del parque existente y se va a agregar el área que recién obtuvimos.
El área verde nueva tendría 2.588 pies cuadrados más que la anterior.
This statement is not true. Lot 5 has been Hialeah property since 1925. Lot 4 will be a driveway for Navarro.
Al Departamento de Parques le pareció que era necesario hacer un parque para perros acá.
El pedazo que intercambiaron será para el acceso vehicular de la farmacia. La directora se comprometió a preservar los árboles.
This statement is not true. 3 of the 5 large trees have been removed.
Y dijo que el proceso no fue secreto.
Se publicó en el periódico, se le mandaron tarjetas a los vecinos en el radio de los 500 pies cuadrados y además de eso se colocó un cartel naranja bien visible cerca del parque.
Half truth. Only an attorney can understand the language used.
Y los vecinos dijeron que llevarán este caso al Consejo de Hialeah el próximo 12 de diciembre y que no descartan entablar una demanda contra la ciudad. En Hialeah, María Alesia Sosa, Noticias 23, Univisión.
Okay, so we got 40, what is it? 40 seconds left. Oh, there's more stuff?
Next speaker.
Okay, so we're done with that speaker. Okay,
Jose Ozzie,
name and address, please, sir.
Jose Alzi, 788 Southeast Park Drive. Good evening, everyone. No, you remember 9 months ago, we were here and we showed the other video from Telemundo where it was very clear what they were doing and we were kind of like not taking it serious, but I hope with this incident, we need to like be honest with the residents and now what's happening in Slade Park with the Cohia. We have to learn from here. You know, the residents expect truth to come out from you, right? They want the truth, they want information. So I want to show the first picture. Can you stop the clock?
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, don't worry, go ahead.
we started.
Yeah. fine.
Just print them and we can distribute to the council.
Can you show picture number 2? You know, this happened last time, it's my First Amendment right.
I know.
Even the police officer escorted me out of here. I don't want to be escorted again. I'm going to be like in trouble. There's so many police officers.
Pepper,
but-
1 second, Pepper, 1 second. For future reference, please, let's make sure whenever we get any videos or any pictures, we have to test drive them here before the meeting, all right? Okay, can you, let's print them out while he speaks and we'll go from
Yeah,
there.
because I emailed them before.
That's
I
fine.
called this morning. I
fine.
came
Got it.
early. I talked, you know, it's
Jose,
like.
I got it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Sorry. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the picture shows that we were promised a park. We gave up the park for a house and we were promised that the house was going to be part of the park. Well, the house turned out to be a driveway. All right, it's not a park, it's a driveway. And we had a street with 12 parking spaces. That street was also given to them. And we had 12 parking spaces, now we have 8. So we lost the street, we lost parking space, plus we lost, I wish I had the pictures here. Okay, and the last picture, I took it to the Commissioner of Ethics and Trust, and I hope you ask Alex, the attorney Alex or Deborah could speak too. Okay, Deborah went, but she had the attorney speak to her. The Commission on Ethics and Trust was very clear. Alex kept saying, the attorney, what we did was legal. The Ethics and Trust Department said, what you're doing is legal, but it's not ethical, okay? They said that 3 times. I have the recording. I could show the recording next meeting. This is how they describe Three Friends Park. I live a block from there. I worked for Parks and Recreation many years. Okay, this is how we were informed. Property located at northwest intersection of Southeast, Lot 8, a portion of Lot 6, Block 3 of 36th Street, Lawrence, according to PB 2438 of the public records. The ethics was very clear that language has to be used so the residents can understand what was given to them. The ethics was very clear. We're predominantly Spanish speaking. It should be given in English and Spanish. They printed it in the neighbors, right? Because, you know, nobody reads the neighbors. It should be printed in media that people read. Okay, so Slade Park, this is the important issue. We can't do nothing now about, the mistake. We need to learn from that. This is what was published for Slade Park, which is nobody knows the information. I was there yesterday. I looked in the city website. Nobody has information on this. This is a major development in Hialeah. Nobody knows, are we gonna lease it to them? Are we gonna give it to them? Are we still gonna be on? Nobody knows. This is what was on the public notice or sent to record. Look. Confined to use permit to allow expansion of existing school grades 12th grade and allow an increase of 250 students. Before they had 800, now they want to have 1,200. Everybody wants that, okay? But the ethics was very clear. You need to be clear with your residents. First of all, it doesn't say nowhere here that part of the park, Slade Park, will be given to them. It wasn't the media. I checked everywhere. I'm getting information on Slade Park. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody's been clear. We usually put those big signs 4 foot by 8 feet. There was nothing there. And it's pretty bad where we don't need secrecy, like tell the people, So my question is Slade Park. Okay, we got to inform the people what's happening there. We're giving it to the school. My question is, are we leasing it to them? Like when Dade County gives us property, we closed Filer Park and Hialeah Middle Park. We're the only city in the state of Florida that closed 2 parks. I was the director of Slade Park 14 years ago. Slade Park, we have flag football. Now 1 park in the city of Hialeah has flag football. We had girls sports. Now 1 park has girls sports. We had ceramics. The only thing available right now at Slade Park is a private company charging $200 a month for volleyball. The staff there offers nothing, right? So my question, what is the information? Are we giving them the Slade Park? Are we leasing it? Do we have control over it after 4 p.m.? There's no information, and we need to inform public meetings as was suggested in Spanish, give information. What information, like that we don't make the same mistakes we made at 3 Friends Park? We can't do the same mistake at Slade Park. Do you have any information on that?
Yeah, so Mr. Ozzie, so this is what we're gonna do. So once I'm done responding to you, you're gonna sit down so we can continue to go. And once the pictures come up, I'll let you come back up for a couple more seconds. But so 2 different things with Cohia. Well, let me go back to the advertising, right? The advertising that goes out to all the residents, I believe, is the same advertising that's been going out for the last 50 years in the city of Hialeah. So that's number 1.
That's what the ethics said. It wasn't ethical.
Sure. And so we'll discuss that. I think there are even changes discussed, but so that's number 1. Number 2, with Cohia, there's 2 different things. So there's a lease. It's always been a lease, and that lease is going to come up for a vote. And so we'll be able to have more discussion on that lease agreement as well. And then the second component is what you just referenced, right? Which is the expansion, the proposed expansion that they want to see in the city, which also is going to come before the city of Hialeah. And like it always is, we're going to have a first reading and then a second reading for public comments, which I encourage you not to just come in the second reading, but come in the first reading as well. So
Wait,
those are-
but sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of Miami-Dade Public and Ethics. The city has an obligation to give the information in Spanish also, but in a language we understand. Nobody was given that part of the park is going to be taken. They said we're going to increase the school enrollment. Everybody wants that, but it doesn't say we're going to give them the park. So truth, the people want the truth. And the ethics committee recommended that what you're doing is legal, but it's not ethical. So,
One second.
Yeah, I'd just like to,
Mhm.
question to the legal department. Have we been given a notice from the Ethics Commission that our language is flawed in some way, or they've sent us something that says we need to correct it?
Mr. Mayor, we have not, and the speaker, I believe it's just public knowledge that he's brought numerous ethics complaints against various city personnel and officials, and I am not aware of a single violation having been found by the Commission on Ethics.
All right, so I would just advise the council, there is no official communication to us from the Ethics Commission that the system that has been in place here for as long as I could remember, before I even got to the city council. So this is probably all the way back to the 80s and 60s and 70s and going on. This is the way it's been. Okay, if someone doesn't understand it, if they don't understand it because of, I don't know, legal terms or what have you, I don't know what we could do to simplify it even more. It's been in process now for a long, long time. There has been no communication, zero communication. In fact, what's being represented here, the accusations to the Ethics Commission, okay, is that basically the Ethics Commission has frowned upon this constant complaining that is just frivolous, to be perfectly honest with you. So there is no communication officially or back channel to the law department or to the mayor's office that whatever we've been putting out there, which we've been complying with the law now for forever, is failed or flawed or wrong in any shape or form.
Okay, once again, the commission said it was legal but not ethical. Can you call up Attorney Alex?
No, we're not,
Disappeared.
we're not gonna do that now.
Well, the
Mr.
ethics
Ozzie.
had him, there 3 times they asked Deborah Forge to speak. She didn't want to speak. She only her attorney. 3 times you told attorney, what you're doing is ethical, but it's not legal. Next city council meeting, I'm gonna play 3 minutes of that meeting.
Bring it,
Because,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that's fine.
we want truth. This is like where I started. We want the truth. What's the truth? We want to
Understood.
be ethical. We want to be responsible. We want to tell the
Absolutely.
city what's going on
Yep.
in Slade Park. Nobody knows, like, I was there yesterday, nobody knows. So,
Come-
thank you.
Come
Thank
for
you.
the Slade Park meeting. That's gonna be fun.
Thank you.
Come on.
Nobody
Yeah,
knows.
no,
The
I know, but you know, and we'll make sure that we let
Come on,
everybody else
Come on,
know.
Mr.
I got it,
Council
I got it, I
President.
got it, I got
We
it.
should tell the
I got- The
residents.
sign is up. Okay. Mr. Ozzie, thank you, thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
No, just a brief comment. So last year when this discussion came up, concerning Three Friends Park, I think we got to a productive point, and that was that we were gonna analyze some of the ways that we make our notices. Obviously, in the last 50 years, the makeup of the city has changed dramatically, to a obviously more Spanish-speaking population. And I think one of the things that we talked about last year was trying to provide notices to residents in both languages. Was that something that we were able to implement?
We implemented it immediately. All the notices that go to the residents now are in English and in Spanish. And in the orange signs, there is a QR code that you can scan and you find the Spanish translation. And always forever, there is a phone number and say, if you have further questions, and he knows because he came many times to ask about certain applications, you come, we open the plans and we explain you exactly what is the application for. And the language that you use is a legal language that we have to use to advertise
Right.
what is being requested. We
Right.
cannot in 3 lines, 4 lines, we cannot explain the whole project, but we are open every day to the public. They can call, they can come, and we can explain.
Okay, so just to understand, we are sending.
No, I have what was up in Spark. I have a picture for all of you. Another untruth. She represents the city.
Okay.
And she's giving you untruth. So here's
Mr. Ozzie, we have the pictures. Oh. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ozzie.
Through the chair.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
did just want
The
to,
clerk has to keep a copy
There's
of
no-
anything
there's
that's
no-
handed out to council.
there's no code.
Mr. Ozzie, 1 second. What was that?
Clerk has to keep a copy of anything that is
Okay.
handed out to
You
council.
got it.
There's no kind of code. There's nothing. Another untruth. We should add that to
Okay.
another untruth.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ozzie. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to understand, Mr. Ozzie, so you're saying that unethical is that our sign is unethical, or is that we didn't notify the residents? Because I think that sign is
Okay, this
notifying,
is
right?
how they notified about Southeast Park. It said lot 8, a portion of lot 6, block 3 of 36th Street Lawrence, according to PB 24-38. An attorney could read this. This is legal, but the ethics was very clear. It's not ethical because you need to use a language that your residents understand. And if you read it there about Slade Park, there is no QR code, nothing in Spanish. So we need give honest information. We need an honest city planner. And the city council, you're relying on her. Please don't make the mistake. We can't do nothing about Three Friends Park, but we can tell the residents what's happening in Slade Park. And we need to bring back programs to our parks. We have no program in our parks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any other public comments?
Juan Santana,
Ms. Santana?
Good job. 5601 West 10th Avenue, Juan Santana. Mayor, a couple questions. Just to let you know, because I don't think you know, because a lot of stuff is happening. I know we're dealing with the hurricane. I know you're doing stuff, picking up stuff to send up north. Congratulations on that. Awesome. I wanted to know, do you know that on your Instagram, on your Facebook, when your staff member is doing all this, I call it propaganda, but informing, this stuff on YouTube, all the comment sections are off. Everything is off. Right. Another thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys, back in the past, we used to live stream this event, the council meetings on Facebook. One of the things that are happening, that I see it's happening, and again, you're not as bad as the last administration. So this is like, it's okay. But the wound is open. You understand? We need to continue showing transparency. Okay. When you show transparency, your community starts to have trust in you. Okay. By us not recording, showing this live on Facebook or on Instagram, you're doing a great job promoting all the stuff that's going on Facebook and Instagram. But the comment section is off. That way, on the YouTube, when she's promoting these things, right? And on Instagram, the comment section is off. To my understanding, maybe the city attorney can advise you, but we're kind of dabbling now on First Amendment violations because people cannot go on there and put public opinion.
Are you talking about the mayor's page?
No, I'm talking about the city of Hialeah's page. Wait,
Wait a second, wait, just.
Yeah, channel 77,
Oh, channel 77?
which is the city of Hialeah's.
No, I understand it. Thank you. Appreciate your.
All right, well, I have a minute and
So
13
let's
seconds.
just find out.
I
Not all?
could- I
Okay,
No, I'm not talking about while it's live. I'm talking about when she's posting. Through the chair, I want 10 more seconds. While she's posting these videos, uploading it on there, the comment section is off. I have it on screenshot. If you want, I can send it to each one of you guys.
no, that's fine. If
Okay,
it's off,
so-
it shouldn't be off,
But I'm
Alice
just,
or Gino. It
Mayor,
shouldn't be
again,
off.
this is not me coming here to complain. I'm just trying
I
to let
sure
you
it
know what's
I'm
happening.
sure it is. It is. It's
Okay, I'm letting you know what's happening.
Hmm?
But again, by you guys not doing these type of things, we're not showing transparency.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. So another thing, Chair, Council President, it was that way, Mayor, this is another thing. Again, this falls under your administration because this is happening under your administration, this roof
Yeah.
right now. The developers met here, I think it was August something, the 26th or something. To my understanding, I had it on the calendar because I was here the last meeting, right? It's very, it's very sneaky. I'm going to use the word sneaky, changing the meeting and only giving 2-day notice. And maybe the attorney could say it or not, regarding what? You have to notify the public 10 days in advance before you have the meeting.
I have no idea
Right.
what you're talking about.
I'm talking, he knows what I mean. The chair knows, I'm talking about the developers meeting. I'm
What
talking about the
developers
developers meeting.
Which developers meeting?
The developers meeting that you have all the developers sitting up here with you, talking about what's the plan for Hialeah, for this or for that, right? The affordable house, the supposedly affordable housing task force, which the AMI and Hialeah cannot afford none of those people that are building stuff here. But that's a whole nother discussion for
Okay.
a whole nother day.
Okay,
But
All right.
at the end of the day, it's not really appreciated because the last meeting that I attended, I wrote down on my phone what day it was. I even came here and took a picture that I was here.
Mhm.
Right. And then you through text message, we said, no, we had it August, whatever it was. Right. Mayor, please. Again, these things are happening here. You're the administrator here. We have to do things the correct way. We have to give notice 10 days, not 2 days. And I have the public records that I pulled. It was posted, but it was 2 days before the meeting. You get me?
I have no idea.
I could send it to you again. I'm just letting you know.
Go ahead and
on the record.
send it to me. You can send it through Instagram. I know you guys send me a lot of stuff.
I don't
Just send it through me.
To finish off, the people's organization thing, I'm not a part of any of that stuff. No, I'm being serious. I saw they put a lot of stuff on me. He knows what I mean. The mayor knows what I mean because he's talking about Instagram. That's
Okay.
not me. I didn't give the okay.
Okay.
That organization doesn't even exist.
All right.
I looked it up.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Wow, I'm confused. All right, so do we have anybody else? No one else?
No, sir.
Anyone else in the chamber would like to speak? No, oh, ma'am, come right up. Name and address, please, ma'am.
Marie Rice, 771 East 47th Street. I'm here once again. I was here a month ago. I was here a year before that. I've seen zero to happen with parking over the sidewalks. It is a law. I have a picture in my phone showing there's a police officer parked where he's at a residence and 2 cars are completely over the sidewalk. So he's even supporting this at his home or whoever's home he was at. I guess I'm gonna have to go and make a grievance against the city
Okay.
and get something done, because nothing's getting done. And it has nothing to do with, oh, well, you told me, and we can look it up from a year ago, oh, there's 3 and 4 families living in each home. Well, that's not, first, it's illegal to do that. And then it's still illegal to park over our sidewalks. And I am disabled and I don't always have my scooter, but I can only walk so much. And you can't get anywhere in Hialeah. And you even said, oh, let's go walk the streets. I never got a phone call. I don't know anything about it. So I'm going to guess I'm going to put up a grievance and a warrant or something against the
So
city.
while you do your grievance, and I think you should go ahead and do it. I did drive your neighborhood. In fact, I've driven your neighborhood about 4 or 5 times. And I had planned to go, and then we got sideswiped with this storm that wasn't. But I do plan, because I do want to go door to door with you. But in the meanwhile, I do want you to understand the police officer that you may have seen parked there, and you said that was aiding and abetting.
No, not in my
No?
street. It was
Not in your
the
street? Okay, maybe it was another street. But let me just inform you. The police have given 10 warnings. They've towed 1 vehicle, and they've issued 86 citations since the last time that you were here. Okay,
Wow,
so-
86, and I already did the math for you of.
How many more? How many more? I told you, we're gonna cite them all. So tell me, what other neighborhood would you like us to go
I
to?
want the whole city. I
Well-
want the whole
well,
city taken care of.
Mary,
Each city, now wait, excuse me, I have time.
you're gonna have all your time. You're gonna have all your time. But
Well, thank
let me say this to you.
Yes,
The police do the work that they need to do. If in the totem pole of issues, okay, if my officers have to spend all the time just going after, all right, never mind. Okay. whatever.
okay, now can I speak? Because
Speak,
yours is
speak. Go-
going right over the head.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
Go
I
ahead,
know,
ma'am.
I know.
It
You just
is,
wanted to come and
because
complain.
Got busy every minute of the day, and they drive past houses and houses that they could stop and write citations, but they don't. They even park themselves citations while there's a Sunday afternoon watching a football game. And it can be done in 80 in any section. I already did the math for you. 4 officers, 3 times a day is 48 times 30 days. Where's the thousands of warrants that I want to hear about? I don't want to hear about 80. I want to hear 1,000. I want to hear 5,000 in the month.
All right.
You know, this is ridiculous. A year, nothing's happened. I was here a month, and it still behooves me, Jesus, how they said, oh, talk to Jesus. He knows about it. His wife couldn't walk when she was pregnant. And I asked you, what did you do?
Mhm.
Nothing.
Mhm.
And you're sitting here, all of you. And I know that you're the head of the city. I don't know who's the head of the police department, but it's a joke.
Okay.
It's
All
a
right.
joke. You guys don't uphold the law in the city of Hialeah.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, do we have any other public comments? Any other? No? Okay, let's move on over to presentations.
My picture's
Count-
full.
Council, if I can,
Yes.
move to maybe a more happier portion of
Yes,
the meeting.
Wait, my picture is
sir.
what you were gonna show them.
No, we got him, Mr.
But
Ozzie.
is the
Mr. Ozzie, we're done
Oh,
with
wait,
public
wait, wait.
comments.
Is
We
my
moved over
First
to
Amendment right?
presentations.
Wait, I just wanna make
I
it
know,
clear.
but your time
Point
was
of
up and I
order.
gave you
Yeah,
extra
point of
time.
order, point of
Mr.
order.
Ozzie,
No.
Mr. Ozzie, we're not
No,
gonna do
no,
this now.
no,
We
no,
have to move
no,
forward.
no. It is my
Mr.
First
Ozzie,
Amendment right to
Mr.
show.
Ozzie, and we have the pictures
No,
here.
no,
and we saw
no.
them.
You did it again.
Yes, we did.
You
What are
did it
what are we
again,
talking about?
secrecy. It's my
What-
First Amendment right to show the pictures people looking at
Sir,
YouTube.
We have the pictures,
No.
Mr. Ozzie. We can't post them there. That she just literally,
Okay,
that's
I'm
why
just
she went to go
asking,
print
next
them.
city council meeting. I
Yes,
will bring
and
another
I don't know
format
if you heard me
and
when
we
I
show
told
that.
them to make sure that they tested to that we could
So,
play it before the
I'm gonna
meeting.
have extra time to show. the
Yeah, so
picture.
go ahead.
And-
Have
and
a
I-
seat,
And I'm
Mr.
gonna show the
Ozzie.
audio of the panic is
Absolutely.
only because the
Bring it
mayor
off. Bring
need
the
honesty.
video and the
Okay.
pictures. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Since 1959, Cuba has not had a contestant in the Miss Universe pageant. And for the first time, we're going to have in the Miss Universe pageant, which is going to be conducted, I believe, in the next 2 or 3 weeks in Mexico. There will be a representative for the first time since 1959, someone who's going to be representing the island of Cuba in the Miss Universe pageant. And she was crowned Miss Universe here in the city of Hialeah at Mylander The same day that we were doing, I believe it was our second reading of our budget, there was a contest sanctioned by the Miss Universe pageant, eh, which they transformed my lander into what it was amazing the way it looked. And I don't know how many contestants, there was a lot of contestants, a lot of fanfare and whatnot. And the winner, who is here from South Florida, who's a public school kid from Miami Beach High, Maria Elena Acheta, will be representing the exile community, Miami Beach, and in a way, the city of Hialeah when she goes to this Miss Universe pageant. And we brought her here today because we wanted to give her a recognition. We wanted to show her support, and I'd like the council to all join me downstairs, please, to be able to then give her a proclamation, maybe have her say a few words before we send her off to Mexico.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, here we go. So, anytime someone does something for the first time, there's an awesome responsibility. And we had the pleasure of being able to talk upstairs a little bit. Maria Elena is going to be representing the entire Cuban community, in essence. The Cuban community that is represented by our parents, by our grandparents, by many of the people that we represent in this community. She's going to go and not to add pressure to her, right? But she's going to have a lot of cheering and admirers that are going to be doing, hoping everything we can so that she could be successful. She's already a winner in my mind. And the fact that this has not happened since 1959 is something that is just awesome, awesome. And so, Maria Elena, the city council has agreed with me, it doesn't happen every day, but the city council has agreed with me that we name today, October 22nd, as Miss Universe Cuba Maria Elena Acheta Day.
Well, I want to say thank you to the city of Hialeah because I was crowned here. And for Cubans, this is a very important city. I just want you to know that I am very happy and very grateful for this opportunity that my director has given to Cubans. This is the first time in so many years that Cubans are going to be in a platform like Miss Universe. Just know, I want every Cuban to know that this crown that I don't have today, but I have it somewhere. This crown represents every single Cuban blood, and the wanting of freedom for all Cubans. Thank you.
All right. And so, Maria Elena, it's for 24 hours your day. So that means you're allowed to park on top of the sidewalk until 12 o'clock. Council members, if you could stay down here. If you could all stay down here with me, please. Stay down here. Stay down here. So we have employees, city employees that we need to recognize. Thank you. Okay. This better? All right. Okay. Folks, if we could just pay attention for a second. So, as I've said many times, we stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that provide service on a daily basis in our community. And today we want to recognize two groups, 25-year service award recipients and also 30 years. But first, let's do the 25-year recipients. First up, 25 years. He started with us as a baby. Purchasing Division Director, Finance Manager, Luis Suarez. Next up, Police Department, Police Sergeant Richard Quintero. Park Manager, Park and Community Engagement Department, Fernando De Chapelle. Okay, next up, from the Solid Waste Inspector, Public Works Department, Eddie Perez.
And also from Public Works, the underground utility locator, Orlando Gonzalez. All right, if we could give a hand up for all the 25-year service employees. Thank you. Thank you. And now for the 30-year employees, we have from the Police Department, Commander Luis Alvarez. Okay, and the last 30-year recipient, School Crossing Guard Police Department, Miriam de la Bella. Del Valle, I'm sorry. All right, 30-year employee, give it up. Luis Álvarez y Miriam del Valle, all right.
Really?
Okay. All right. Vamos a. I think we have Councilwoman Perez is up. Is Barbara Canals, you're here? How are you? Okay, so, I've seen, I've seen a lot of your emails, so let us finish with the presentations and I'll bring you up for 3 minutes and you can, okay, thank you. All right. All right, Councilwoman Perez, I think you have a presentation as well. I'm sorry. No, ma'am,
He ridiculed
Okay.
me, stating that because it was her day, that you guys allowed her to have a day,
Ma'am.
that she could park over
No,
the
that-
sidewalk today.
we're in
And
presentations now, ma'am.
It's the law.
Okay.
Let me
I-
apologize.
He was
Sure.
wrong.
Mary,
He
I apologize.
ridiculed me in front of the whole city who watches this on Zoom. You
Mary, I
are,
apologize.
level
Got
of
it. Okay.
decency is so low.
I'm
I
sorry.
put you at a 5-year-old.
I'm sorry that I said something. I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize if I offended you in any way. That's okay, okay.
Okay, Councilwoman Perez, your item C.
Thank you. This is something that we started last year. It's just to honor again, and keep into remembrance, the Breast Cancer Awareness Month of people that are suffering from this, and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Since we have such a lofty agenda, I just wanted to bring it up again. Whoever wants to go outside, we have illuminated City Hall again. And just thank you to keeping up the tradition. Okay, moving on. We've got a long agenda.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you for that, for always spearheading that.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that. All right, so we're done with presentations, and I know that Ms. Canales has sent multiple emails, and I know that you really wanted to be here, and you had an issue with your car. So please come up and we'll give you 3 minutes.
Thank you.
And name and address too, please.
Yes, so this is the petition from my neighbors. A lot of them could have been here because they have ill issues like breast cancer. My mom also going through cancer.
And name and address, please, just for the record.
So yes, so I live on 1681 West 68th Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33014. So on behalf of citizens of Hialeah, looking for a motel, drug dealer, car dealer, junkyard, witchcraft, long-term parking, short-term parking, chemical disposal, garbage disposal, commercial parking, and sadly, Memorial Park. Please, just park on Hialeah as well, located on West 68th Street from West 16th Avenue to West 19th Court. Sadly, my neighbors and I live across of Hialeah as well. We live next to a major artery, Northwest 122nd Street. So a lot of drivers go through West 68th Street to get off the Palmetto, get on the Palmetto, go from Hialeah to Hialeah Garden, coming from Hialeah Garden to Hialeah. the volume and the speed of cut-through traffic is so dangerous. Having a parallel parking drivers will need to maneuver to park on Hialeah as well, increasing the traffic hazard. The city of Hialeah needs to protect one of the strongest fibers of our community, single-family neighborhood. Please help us keep our Hialeah swell clean and environmental friendly. No parallel parking. I will leave you with a quote. Man has lost the capacity to foresee and to forestall. He will end by destroying the earth. We say all these people, they all live on West 16 Drive to West 19 Court. I didn't finish the second block, but they are aware because of all the stories they had told me. That's why I had the introduction. So we all say no parallel parking and just keep the green area. That's all. Thank
Barbara,
you.
Thank you. No, and are you talking about the, by the canal, parallel to the canal?
Yes.
On the residential side, right? Not on
Yes.
the, okay, yeah. Can we have Mr. Torres, or I don't know if you're familiar with this scenario, just to kind of say a few words so that Ms. Canales también hears, and then we hear as well. Just to share some
Thank you for your
context.
time.
Absolutely, thank you. And you don't have to leave yet, just so you can hear him. I know that just to share some context with the rest of the council, this is actually very close to where I live by, more or less, right? So this is on 68th and 16th Avenue, and then right alongside the canal. There's always been, since I remember, people parking on that all the time. I think there was even a homeless issue years ago there, and I think PD stepped in. And but can you kind of give us an update on some of the feedback that she provided?
Absolutely. My name is Jose Torres, the Hialeah Police Department. She's brought up that situation a couple times, and the police department is currently addressing it and has been addressing it for a long time now. I believe the streets has cleared up the trees, had trimmed the trees to eliminate the homeless problems as well. We cited vehicles, had vehicles moved, and it's something that we're constantly doing. I believe the city is now in the process of maybe changing up the format in that green area where they're going to establish some sort of parking. So there's like an organized parking in that area.
Okay.
So yeah, that I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a very big green area. Some vehicles parked there. People have been parking there for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, the same, her neighbors have been parking in the front.
Right.
You know, there's some commercial vehicles that have parked there. We've addressed. There's just an ongoing. It's on the easement by the Canal Bank
Yeah,
between
in front of
16th Avenue and 18th.
in front of the restaurant.
In front of Caribe.
Caribe,
Right,
that's
so
what.
Yeah.
It's on the north side of 68th Street. Yes.
I think it's by
Yeah.
where the gas station is, right?
That is
The
correct,
gas
yes.
station and the apartments.
Right.
Townhouses are there.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Carlos Hernandez
Can-
was.
Ms. Barbara.
Come up
Ms.
to the
Canales, can you
microphone.
just know-
You need to
Yeah.
come up to the mic, please. Thank you.
When the officer is right, but this is what happened. When Carlos Hernandez was the mayor, he wanted to have a parallel parking. We voted no, so I thought that was done. Well, he was the mayor until November 2021. Everything was okay. It is after with the new administration, Mayor Bobo, it went down the hill. That's when everything increased. Yes, officer, we be calling you, the whole neighborhood I spoke to, this and more. All these individuals who live across the street, they have called the police, but they don't want parallel parking because that will contribute and to enable people to park there. We're not the ones who park there. Most of the times, it's the apartment buildings or people that they do drive by. No, meaning they drive into the area, they leave their car and then they take off in another car. So if you do a parallel parking, it will not be for us. It will be for everybody around the neighbor. Whole Hialeah West will be parking there, not us. From my block, I asked my neighbors, yes, three neighbors park there. It basically, we could say two, because one of them, he's always working. It's a white pickup truck next to my house, and then two townhouses down the block. So most of those vehicles do not belong to us. So having the parallel parking, it will make everybody to go and park there for free. And they should be charging in Hialeah, since we're broke, at least in my area, so we don't have the problem. If the city of Hialeah doesn't have money, then spend it on something else, because I requested to have it a green area. And the people, and they told, city of Hialeah, the street department told me, we don't have the funds. We have to wait for the city of Miami to give us the trees. We waited 6 months, we had the trees. They were not planted in. I have to fight to have 3 trees in front of my townhouse. The people who will be, that will benefit are all these people that are here. Drug dealers, car dealers, it's a junkyard. We have a neighbor somewhere in the back who doesn't even live across the street, who comes in his tow truck. One by one, he parks up to 10 cars there. And the police knows that, because they have, my neighbors have called them. Each car, they don't even have a plate number. He stopped doing that. Now he's back again. So those are the ones who will benefit to that parallel parking, not us. Not us. That's why we don't want it.
Can I ask a question? Who proposed the parallel parking?
The street department.
The street department
I
that
spoke
proposed
to
it.
them because-
I would imagine as a conversation, because this
No.
council and the administration haven't approved anything in that area. So I would imagine as a conversation to try to find an alternative, no? And
No.
they suggested that?
No, there were three trees planted more down my 1681 West, all the way to the corner. I asked the street department why those 3 trees were removed. Why? Miguel, the engineer from the street department, said to me, because we're planning to do parallel parking. And I was very upset, because after so many emails since 2022, now I find out through Miguel, the engineer from street department, told me that they were moved so we could do parallel parking. They didn't even address it to us.
Ms. Canal, can we allow our streets director, Jose Sanchez, speak to this real quick? Thank you. Name and address, sir, please.
Good evening, Jose Sanchez, 900 East 56th Street, Director of Streets Department. We've contemplated, we've evaluated doing parking on that area, but there's no, just to be clear, there's no projects funded or nothing. It's just been an evaluation of the area. Yes, we've received numerous complaints from Ms. Canales, but in general, that area, we're talking about 20-foot wide townhouses, but as small as it seems, inside there are like 3 twos, which if putting into perspective, a parking space is about 9 foot wide. So that means you have 2 vehicle access in private property. And we're talking about homes that are 3-2, probably even bigger. That there's no way that we could put no parking signs on that area. I mean, that neighborhood, maybe there's some that are coming from other areas, like she says, I can't verify that, but that community needs it. I mean, there's no chance that we could put no parking signs there. I mean, that's needed for the whole community. We've done everything we can in conjunction with police. We've cleared up the area. We trimmed up the trees to eliminate that colderness, so we could deter folks from just sitting under those trees and things like that. And we've done everything in our power to assist and address our complaints. But we have been planting new trees. Right now, we have an ongoing project planting trees. And so far, there's no projects for parking. We contemplated, I think there's a need, but at the end of the day, if that's what the majority wants, they don't want parking, then we won't,
And just a question. But are you, are you home during the day? Yes,
Yes,
you're,
I work 7 days a week.
Okay. okay. So I don't think, Mark's here. Is Carlos here? No? Okay, Alice, if you could, let's do this, okay? I'm gonna go to your house. And I want to talk to you, and I want you to, if you want, let's talk to some of your neighbors. We need to find a solution, and I understand the solution may not be what everybody wants. Listen carefully to what he's saying, and we need to get a census of how many cars, I don't know if we have to do this at night. Let me just finish. Get a census how many cars, because what I fear is by putting a no parking sign, we're going to create a bigger problem with all the folks that live there. Where are they going to park? You've already heard talk about sidewalk issues, which is an issue. We don't want to block sidewalks. I don't know how many families are living in some of these homes, if it's more than one family.
Even I watch you say, we need to control how many families, a townhouse, how many people can you have? 3 to 2 bedrooms on my block. The other block is only 2 or 1 bedroom. There is no control. There is a townhouse all the way in the back.
Ms. Canales on the mic, if you want to speak, just, but.
There is a townhouse. It's ridiculous. We need to code enforcement because yes, I live in an apartment and okay, we have problems with a car. We have to figure out what to do. We bought a bigger place. Those townhouses on the back and on the side, yes, they want to have cars, but you have to figure it out. Do you have enough space? Here comes the city to do the code enforcement and the police. Because if you don't have enough space, you can only have certain vehicles. That's it.
Okay.
We could only have 4. That's it.
Yeah.
I would love to have an RV. Does it fit? No. Would I spend the money a monthly payment bill to add it so I could have it in a place where it belongs? People in those townhouses have boats. They could have whatever they want, but boats are expensive toys. So, like Mr. Sanchez says, you don't have that much space, not even for 2 vehicles. So let me get a boat. I park 1 car here and 1 in Hialeah as well. Mr. Bobo, are you gonna be solving the parking space for each family member who lives in a small place with not enough parking? You can't do that.
We're gonna try.
It's ugly.
I understand, but
It's
we're gonna try then to address an issue that didn't start yesterday. And I'll tell you, it didn't start in 2021. The issue's been going on for a long, long time. And it's not just in your area, it's in a lot of areas. So the problem that we face in the city, okay, is the amount of people that come into the city. And as much as you would like to, for code enforcement to go into somebody's house is never going to happen. It's just not gonna happen.
I understand that.
Okay, so
But-
to summarize and say, well, there's 2 families live inside a home. Yes, and that may be happening all over the city of Hialeah, but for code enforcement, to just say it's a code enforcement problem, no, it's a problem of overpopulation in the city. It's a problem of people coming in and trying to accommodate as best as possible. I mean, this is just a reality that's been going on in the city for the last 30 years.
But Mayor Bobo, we cannot be starting to destroy the little green area that we have.
Oh, I don't want to
around the
destroy any
city.
green area. Forget about the parallel parking. Whoever thought about that was, again, probably trying to come up with some sort of solution and ideas in a way to collaborate. You've made it clear, you and some of your residents don't want to see that.
No.
So the only alternative I could think is, I'm gonna go there and we're gonna figure out, okay, if that's not an alternative, what other alternatives can we come up with?
Just have a green area like
Yeah.
everybody wants to have it. Put-
We could
With
do,
grass, frontage road, street department have blocked 4 apartments to park on Hialeah as well. 4. 4 apartments, frontage road,
Mhm.
from Walgreens 12th Avenue to A Street, West A Street, frontage road 68
Sí.
Street. So they have blocked four apartments to park on Hialeah as well. 4. So why they haven't figured out how to fix that apartment building with the park, with their parking problems?
If,
Why?
That's
to-
complicated. Look,
Why-
I'll go out there and spend as much time as we need to. I understand what you're saying. This is extremely complicated.
yeah.
I,
Drive behind my townhouses.
Ma-
It looks like a commercial area,
Ms.
not
Canale-
a residential.
Yeah, I hear
Canale,
you. I
if I
understand.
may, just so we can, Alice is right over there. If you can just give her your information so the mayor can contact you, and I appreciate you coming, okay?
Yeah, thank you, and
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for your extra time.
Absolutely.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry I'm
Thank you.
late.
Absolutely. No worries. All right, board appointments. Thank you, Jose.
None, sir.
All right, announcements of amendments. Wow, we're still here.
Consent item triple W has been withdrawn from today's agenda. Consent item quadruple N has been added to today's agenda. In accordance with section 376.80 of the Florida statutes, the city council will hold 2 public hearings on a resolution creating a new Florida brownfield area at the property located at 2400 West Okeechobee Road, Hialeah, Florida, 33010, identified by folio number 043011002105 as a green reuse area pursuant to Florida's Brownfields Redevelopment Act. The first public hearing is scheduled to be held during the city council meeting of November 12th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. And the second and final public hearing is scheduled to be held during the city council meeting of December 10th, 2024 at 5:30 p.m.
All right, okay, heading over into consent agenda. Do we have any items that the council would like to pull?
Yes, through the chair.
Yes, sir.
RR.
RR?
Mhm.
All right. Do we have any other items?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Double N,
Double N?
N as in Nancy,
Okay,
and double Y.
and double Y. Okay. Oh. All righty. Any other items? Double I, double N and 2 Y. Yeah, yeah, and then RR. Mhm. Mhm.
We got a busy agenda.
Motion notwithstanding. All right, so if that's all, we have a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion by the vice president. Motion. We have a second by Carl Zog.
Mr. Tunidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
yes.
Motion carries. The consent agenda has passed, except items double R, double N, and double Y.
All right, item NN.
Request permission to issue a purchase order to RNC Management Incorporated for the printing of utility bills and envelopes for the Department of Public Works in a total cumulative expense amount not to exceed $118,800. The funding for this expenditure is to be drawn from the printing and binding account number 450-9500-536-470.
Okay, Mr. Calvo.
Thank you. Director's here. While he's walking up, so I pulled this item last year, and I believe the conversation that we had at that time was just trying to find ways that we can be slightly more efficient when it comes to some of our billing. And the conversation we had last time, if I remember, was exploring whether or not we can maybe do some sort of paperless system. If there was some savings that there would be. Obviously, wouldn't having to purchase as many envelopes, the labor, the postage, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, everything's going up. And maybe that was a potential credit that we can give similarly to how some of the utilities do it, AT&T or whatever it is. Is that something that we were able to explore in the last year?
Kevin Linsky, Public Works Director. So the timing's actually good, and I do remember the conversation from last year, and it was on this item. So starting in just a few weeks from now, we are changing over the vendor by which you pay electronically. So we get a certain percentage of people who pay on the internet, some do checks, some come in with cash. We did not heavily
Just out of
advertise.
curiosity, what is it? Do you know, like off the top of
You know
your head,
what?
what the internet is?
The gentleman back here did a chart for me the other day on that. Jeffers, I apologize. I will
Okay.
send it to you,
No
but we
worries.
do track that information each year. And it was moving a little more towards the internet, but not as much as we want. We did not advertise it because we were changing vendors. That vendor is changing right about now. So we're actually writing, we're going to put on everyone's bill, more information about their ability to pay online. The number's creeping up.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a way that we can attach some sort of financial incentive to that, I think that would allow more people to switch over, right? I mean, I did it just because save $5 or save $10
Right,
on
right.
on the bill. So I think definitely something to look into. Otherwise, I know, I don't remember who it was, but somebody threw out there a couple months ago about combining the blue and the green bill. In other words, the green bill is obviously the same every 2 months, whereas the blue bill is the one that changes. So maybe by doing so, we would reduce by half the number of mailings that we have to make. Is that something that we've looked into as a possibility?
So I'm happy to do whatever the council wants. I'm told there's some history there that over the, I'll say it at this point, decades, that policy has changed back and forth, sometimes trying to combine bills. And ultimately, the last time the decision was made, there was the belief that residents preferred to have a monthly bill. But I'm happy to explore anything that the council would like to do.
Yeah, I think in order to make that decision, it would be helpful to have, what is the actual savings at the end of the day? If it's something that's insignificant, then probably not. But if it's a, considerable amount of money, then maybe that's a decision we can make.
Probably 70 cents times 6 for each. So $4 a year would be for the customer,
Per
basically.
customer, and you're talking about how many accounts, 60,000?
60,000, yeah. So 240,000 for the.
That could
department.
be significant. Let me ask you this. We have 60,000 accounts, but certainly there aren't 60,000 necessarily ultimate payees. Is there any way that you can merge accounts and have one bill with multiple, let's say, folios that you own?
I would have to ask the people who run Springbrook, which is the account management software that we use.
Yeah, because I think there's other municipalities outside of Dade County that do it like that. So maybe that's, again, just thinking of creative ways, and you get a little bit here and there, maybe it adds up to something.
We'll see if the software is capable of doing that. I couldn't give you an answer.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Motion otherwise.
Okay, motion by Councilman Calvo.
Second.
We have a second by the Vice President. Please call the roll.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Perfect. Item RR.
Yes, actually, I need to remove myself. I do work for part of the company. That was me?
Please repeat that. It was unintelligible.
Yes, I need to remove, actually, I work for the company, a division of the company.
Okay, council member has declared a conflict and will recuse himself, and the city clerk, you'll give him the form.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any council discussion?
We have to read the item. and
Oh,
take
go
a
ahead,
vote.
read the, yeah.
Proposed resolution approving a piggyback contract to contract number EVN 000469 by Miami-Dade County, Florida with National Auto Parts Warehouse LLC, and authorizing the mayor, his designee, and the city clerk as attesting witness on behalf of the city to issue a purchase order to National Auto Parts Warehouse LLC in the amount not to exceed $125,000 for the purchase of original equipment manufacturer and aftermarket parts for all city vehicles and in substantial conformity with the agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
All right, so Council, we have a motion by Councilman Zogby,
Second.
a second by the Vice President. Please call the roll.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Item YY.
Oh, one second. I was just talking to the city attorney and I wanted to, before Louis comes back. So there should be a statement that is approved by the city attorney's office in collaboration with the clerk on when a council member has to recuse himself on an item, from voting on an item. It's very vague, but I don't think in this case he has any financial, no, Louis, stay out for a second. Just, sorry. I don't think there's a direct financial gain by his vote on this item, but obviously the proper thing is for him to recuse himself. But I think there should be for a purpose of transparency, some sort of statement so that the residents understand. When I was in the county, there was issues. I worked for Miami Children's Hospital, now Nicholas Children's Hospital. And when we had to vote, let's say on an ambulance contract, I didn't get any direct financial gain from it, but because I worked for the entity, the attorneys opined, but I would read a statement or just for clarification purposes. And that's what I was just talking to the attorney. I didn't want to side swap the conversation, but just maybe there's something that should be prepared. So in the case of the future, we're buying from this vendor, that he, obviously, the right thing is to recuse himself, but also read a statement for clarifications for those that may be watching at home or listening.
Mayor, there's a form. It's Form 8B, but the person abstaining has 15 days to file it. So if you like the next meeting, we can read it into the record, but I can't really obligate him to fill it out now.
No. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
Just something,
that's correct.
something more than I can't vote on this, you know, it's
Yes,
something more.
he states the nature of the conflict and then he has 15 days to specify exactly in writing.
So, and we will look at the form. I'll speak to the city clerk briefly about that. And Mayor, just to be sure I understood what you're saying, are you saying that you thought it would be a viable idea if there was some brief prepared, like cheat sheet statement that would be made when someone has, is that what you're saying? Because,
Yeah, if you look at what we did in the county, if
Yes.
somebody had to recuse themselves, they would read something in the record. Sometimes
Yes.
there was a potential gain, sometimes, you know, just for
I know what-
clarification, but people might be asking, why does he have to get up and not vote on something like this? So-
Yeah, that's exactly what the state form asks, for you to specify if there's a special private gain or loss in here to the special gain or
Right.
loss of a business or
right,
something.
and that's the reason why, because you do have to vote under state law unless you have a conflict of interest.
Right.
And the conflict of interest is that it would inure not only to your own special private gain or loss, or that which would inure to the private gain or loss of any principal, which usually is interpreted to mean your, yes, okay. So,
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to piggyback. So I think that's a great idea because that's a form of transparency to the residents as to why he's not, right? Or why he's, abstaining from the vote.
yes.
'Cause if not, he walks off, but nobody really knows why.
We'll prepare something for your consideration.
Thank you. All right, item YY.
Proposed resolution authorizing the use of State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program funds under the city's local housing assistance plan to increase funding to Juan and Carla Balbastro in order to fully fund the SHIP-funded rehabilitation of their home by $50,000, bringing the total award to $386,923. Authorizing the mayor or his designee and the city clerk as attesting witness to execute any and all purchase orders and agreements in furtherance of the project on behalf of the city, and authorizing a supplemental appropriation pursuant to Hialeah, Florida Charter Section 3.08 subsection E1 in aforementioned amounts to the State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program, and providing for an effective date.
Councilman Calvo.
Well, for purposes of Ms. De La Vega, I wanted to just kind of give you an overview of what this program is. It was very confusing to me when I first started. So this is called SHIP. It's the State Housing Initiatives Partnership. The city created its local version of that, which is LHAP, right? Local Assistant Plan. And it's basically you seek out homes in our community, low-income individuals, they have special needs, and we can provide them up to $125,000 to make necessary repairs to the property. I believe they get like a 0% interest on some of these funds, and it's attached as a mortgage on their property for 15 years, right? So up to 125, that's the deal, that's the gig. This is an interesting case because the council awarded funds to this family back in 2021. They had extensive repairs necessary. It required additional funding then in 2022. And then in 2023, they increased their funding even more. Today, they're before us are basically for another $50,000 to cover additional costs repairs. This would bring their total award to $386,000 and 923. So almost the cost of what it would have cost to just buy a new home, if you can believe that. So, you know, obviously, I'm not saying this is anybody's fault in particular, but certainly something here went terribly wrong. A program that was supposed to give only 125, now we're pushing almost $400,000. I believe this is the case where the residents were having to give temporary housing. Is that correct?
Daniela Tamayo, Grants and Human Services Department. Yes, this has been going on since 2021.
Okay.
So at one point, one of the household members had to be given housing.
Okay, so what they did is during the construction process, the homeowners, they were given temporary housing. Obviously, that's an additional cost to the city and also taking it away from another family that could have been in that apartment. But no mind, because obviously the project was undergoing and they were going to get their home back and what have you. I believe the actual owners for I think like an animal related issue where they had cats or whatever, they were kicked out of the housing, evicted, what have you. And so there was like this whole article about them being homeless and the whole thing. So I just want to understand, if we're approving these $50,000 today, you know, this is obviously request number 4 at this point. Is this it? Is this the end? Are we going to be able to finish this project? I mean, what's going on?
So the project had already started. In the middle of them doing the repairs, they found that the structure was completely messed up by termites. So they have to replace the structure, because what we don't want is to repair the home and then for it to be eventually messed up in the future. So we are not going to be using the full 50. The change order came back for around $20,000, but we wanted to increase it to 50 just in case there was anything else that was unexpected that they would find throughout their reconstruction of the home. And we didn't want to come back to council and ask for more funding.
Right. Do we have a project completion date that we can say this is when it ends?
Yes, we're hoping by the end of December. We're waiting for the windows, the doors, they have to be made. So it goes through a lot of little different hurdles. We had to do mold repairs, asbestos repairs. So it's been taking a little bit, but we're trying to get this done.
Is there anything that you can think of that maybe we can establish maybe as part of our program of the LHAP to prevent from getting in this situation again? I mean, clearly, you know, if this program is supposed to be up to 125, we've well exceeded that. I mean, at some point, you know, a decision should have been made here. And that wasn't. I mean, the cost just basically ran off and almost tripled. Is there any protocols that you can think of that maybe we can institute in order to prevent this from happening again?
Yeah, well, we're not seeing that happening anymore. This was a case that happened in with the previous administration. So we really wanted the family to have their home back, and we're working with them. This is a special case for that situation. But we always make sure that we stick to the 125. Now with the new cases, we have around 8 new cases, and none of them have presented anything to this point. The house was deteriorated. So that's why it took us to this level.
Do we, just out of curiosity, do we conduct like a full home inspection before signing on
Yes.
one of these cases?
We do a scope.
Is it like what's it called, the 4-point inspection, or is it the more thorough 12?
So we have a general contractor that goes and does a scope of work, and that's what we use to put out the bid. So
Okay.
she checks everything. That the purpose of the program is to make sure that the home is up to code.
Right.
So it includes windows, roof, appliances, bathroom ADA compliant issues. So the inspector goes in, or the general contractor goes in, builds a scope of work, and we just want to make sure that before we go into the awarding process, We do the cost analysis and say, okay, this is what it's gonna be. If it goes up over the 125, then we have to ask the homeowners, hey, there's something that you're gonna have to maybe not do so that we cannot go over the 125.
And so, I mean, at the end of the day, that, you know, when it's all said and done, it'll be well over 300,000. That mortgage will still be recorded on these homeowners' property.
Oh, 100%.
Right. So, and it's only a 15-year repayment.
Mhm.
So I'm sure their payments are going to be pretty high. Do you know what that is?
No, they're not supposed to pay us this money back.
Okay.
So as long as they live in the property for 15 years,
It's only if they sell it.
yes, correct. They
Okay.
have to pay us the full amount back.
Okay, I understand.
And if they don't live there for the 15 years, then they have to pay us the money back.
And then after 15 years, it'll
It's
get wiped out.
forgiven, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope that this is all true and we can get this done by the end of the year. Hopefully that'll make a great Christmas gift, right? For them
Yes.
to be back in their home.
We are hoping to finish by then, so yes.
Absolutely. All right, otherwise motion, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Councilman Calvo.
Second.
We have a second by the Vice President. Please call the roll.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All righty. Heading over to administrative items. Item A is postponed.
Until the city council meeting of November 12th, 2024 at 5:30 PM.
Okay, item B.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance approving the closure and vacation of the public alley and the release and abandonment of the Eastman Reservation traversing land running on the east side of the city of Hialeah from East 9th Avenue to East 10th Avenue between East 26th Street and East 27th Street in Hialeah, Florida, as depicted and legally described in Exhibit A, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this item is the second reading. Do we have any public comments online? Motion.
No, sir.
Any in the chamber? None. We have a motion by Councilman Zogby.
Second.
We have a second by the Vice President. Please call the roll.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right, item C.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance repealing and rescinding Hialeah ordinance number 2023-007. Attached hereto as Exhibit A adopted on January 24th, 2023, granting a special use permit and variance to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district and to allow only residential units where mixed use is required. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item is the second reading. Do we have any public comments online?
No, sir.
Any in the chamber? Do we have council discussion? Motion. We have a motion by Councilman Zogby,
Second.
second by the Vice President. Please call the roll.
Ms. Perez, Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega. Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right, item D.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98 entitled Zoning, Article 5, Zoning District Regulations, Division 33, NBD Neighborhood Business District, amending Section 98-1627, Purpose, Section 98-1628, Definitions, Section 98-1629, Geographic Area and Exclusion, Section 98-1630.1, Permitted Uses, Limitations, and Prohibited Commercial Uses, Section 98-1630.2, Building Uses, Section 98-1630.3, Development Standards, Section 98-1630.6, Building Design Concept Requirements, Section 98-1630.7, Design and Development Standards, and Section 98-1630.8, Limited Expansion on NBD Overlay District Regulations, subject to special use permit. Retitling and amending Section 98-1630.4, Height Incentives, Section 98-1630.9, site plan review, demolition, and construction schedule, and removing section 98-1630.5, density incentives, to revise the permitted uses, clarify the development standards, and to improve the zoning regulations, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
All right. We have our zoning director here. Do we have any council comments before she speaks? All right, Ms. Storch, name and address, please.
Deborah Storch, Planning and Zoning Official, 501 Palm Avenue, second floor. So we have a short presentation. What we did, as you all might know, we adopted the neighborhood business district in the year 2007. So 17 years after, we have seen projects developed under this classification, but all of them needed variances. So we went back and looked at everything and trying to streamline the approval process. When we met with the developers on the affordable housing project, one of the complaints was, well, not complaints, but they say to be able to provide affordable housing, we need to get some money. So from the local level, we don't have money to give them, but at least we can help them out to minimize the entitlement process. So if you want to go to the next one. So what we did, we looked at all the variances, and the objectives were to update the minimum unit size, to update the parking requirements, to simplify the incentive point system, to incorporate three new neighborhood business district areas, and to incorporate design guidelines. The design guidelines we're incorporating because sometimes all these elements that give the incentives were kind of subjectives, and many times we were taking advantage of that. So now we are creating a design guidelines booklet, and there we will exemplify exactly which are the things that give you points. Next one. So why we're updating the rules: to incorporate lessons learned from developed projects and to incorporate public feedback. The key aims are to reduce or eliminate the need for variances, to reduce the entitlement time, to reduce entitlement cost associated with public hearing applications, and to provide examples of the incentive. What? No, that wasn't. No, I was talking about the last one, and now she's on this one. So here, this explains what is an activity node, that is a busy street or transit corridor where more activity is encouraged. The incentive points are the physical features to be included in the site and or building to obtain the increased density and height. The mixed-use building means a building with active ground floor, which may or may not include commercial uses. And the MBD design guidelines are the graphic examples of site building features that will fulfill the incentive point criteria. In the next slide, you have a map. So we are adding the area 6, 7, and 8. So we are expanding the MBD along Okeechobee Road, surrounding the Leah Art District, 7, and along Hialeah Drive. Those are the areas that we think that the activity is there. So it were convenient for that expansion. So the next slide.
Wait, can you stay there, please? Can you go back, if you don't mind? So area 6 is existing, or that's a proposed?
No, it's the proposed new areas are all along Okeechobee Road, with the exemption of the area where Deer Park is. That is the new area 6. The area 7 is along Hialeah Drive, and the area 8 is surrounding the Leah District.
Okay.
So in the next slide, as I explained, the local level contribution to reduce initial costs, the construction costs, by reducing the need for variances, by merging the density and high incentives, simplifying the articulation requirements, reducing the unit size requirements, and reducing the parking requirements. The next slide. We also looked into the permitted and prohibited uses. Many uses that were in the old ordinance were like video clubs and kind of things, record store, things that don't exist anymore. So what is allowed in the MBD is residential, shops, gyms, exercise studios, offices, and parks. And what is not allowed are the uses that are not consistent with the residential, which would be car repair shops, adult entertainment, nightclub, smoke or vape shops, and industrial uses.
If I may, can we go back to that?
Yes, yes.
Is there a way that we can maybe do a more thorough analysis of this particular slide of what's allowed and not allowed?
Okay, in which sense?
Just to get a percentage, I think that we've been seeing a really high increase of certain kind of businesses throughout the city. That maybe we could include that into the not allowed area in these locations.
For example?
A lot of like clinics and doctor's office, a lot of I don't know, we've been seeing a really heightened amount of clinics throughout.
But
the
you
city.
say that you want to allow more or less?
Less.
Well, we address that because what we said in the ordinance is that you can have the doctor offices and you can have the clinics, but not on the ground floor because you want a ground floor that is an active ground floor. You don't want that to be all covered and blank because the intention of the mixed use is that you have an active first floor. So we addressed that already.
But then you do have it included? They are allowed?
They are allowed, but they are allowed in the interior. Since in the MBD, you can have a mix, you can have an active front with a lobby or a gym, and you can have a doctor's office on the first floor or in the part of the building that is behind the lobby.
But the issues that we're having with those clinics is that they have a lot of transport vehicles. So they're taking up a lot of the parking areas. It's happening in every shopping center in the city that they're taking over the parking lot.
No, I know,
So
I know.
I think that would be my reason behind it. And even we're seeing it in a shopping center, there's the same clinic on 3 different units with a business in the middle, and the people are walking on the outside of the shopping center to get to their business. I think that that's
Well,
a
this
big.
is not a shopping center. The MBD is supposed to be a mixed-use building where you have commercial on the ground floor, and not necessarily. Because if you do like a big lobby or the exercise room that you're providing as an amenity on the first floor, you don't need to provide that commercial space.
I just think we need to.
But
I don't know
if you all agree, we will be very happy to remove the dental clinic, all those uses that are service-oriented uses and don't provide any active use.
I
We
just,
have
I
that
would
in
like
the
further
negotiation.
conversation on this if we can.
The chair.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly agree with Councilwoman Perez. This is not to be underscored. This is a major decision that the council has to make. I mean, we are increasing the density of the MBD significantly. We are expanding the areas in our city where this kind of density will be allowed.
We are not increasing the density. This density is still the 70 units per acre.
I read here something about 100 units an acre.
That's
No,
for
that-
that's for the
that-
affordable component.
Yeah, that's for the affordable housing component, and we are talking about the change in the MBD. And then you will have another resolution on item G, that is the text amendment, and there we're going to, but that's another thing. I can explain it, but for this MBD change, does not include any density.
Right, it just
increase.
says a comprehensive plan amendment is also on tonight's agenda. I guess it's a separate item.
Okay, yeah.
To
It's a
increase
separate,
to
it's a
increase the
separate item.
MBD maximum density to 100 units per acre.
Mhm.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could talk about that.
Yeah,
Item
we'll
comes up.
talk about that when it comes to.
I mean, look,
item
they
G.
go hand in hand. The point is, we are increasing the nodes in our city that are going to be more dense. I mean, clearly, obviously, it all goes hand in hand with the comprehensive plan that's being worked on. But, you know, I think it would be interesting. I think what the councilwoman was saying is we approve these applications very frequently. Many of them are riddled with variances, to your point. You know, the one thing that kind of shocks me a lot is a lot of these projects obviously are not really mixed use. They include the residential component on the ground floor. And so it's just, you know, big buildings all around town. So I think what would be helpful here is a much broader discussion to really get into the nitty gritty. It's kind of hard with a long agenda to really get into the weeds of this. I think it's great. Look, I do think we do need more density. I do think we need to update. This is obviously a 2007 ordinance, but I think it requires a little bit more conversation.
Okay. Yeah, the uses we have to discuss. One example, for example, is well, across the Okeechobee Road. They try to do that in Miami Springs. They prohibited all service uses and they only wanted to have active uses. And it has been very difficult to rent out the spaces because you don't have that retail, a boutique, those things don't exist. If you look at all the commercial spaces, or they have a restaurant, or they have a salon, or they have a nail place, or they have, as you say, a clinic, or we can maybe not allow the ones that are intense, but other service uses. I think those are the only uses that will occupy those.
I would just feel comfortable if the council would come up to like a certain percentage that we would allow. Maybe if we come up with a certain amount that we would allow within this new MBD expansion and just say, okay, we're gonna limit it to for 15 of those licenses in this area. So it's not an overwhelming amount. If we could come up with a happy medium, I think we should discuss that.
Yeah.
Because we're overwhelming a certain market and it's not allowing new markets and new businesses to really come in and give a certain flavor to the city. We don't have those opportunities for those coffee shops and those businesses that are restaurants because we're overwhelmed with this selected, Envío Sacua and like, these medical clinics and these certain businesses that are very targeted.
Right.
So we should have that discussion. We should have
Yeah.
that discussion of how we want the percentage of these licenses issued in these locations, so we have more diversity,
So can we, and this is because I have some questions on the points category as well. So can we table this item? Why don't we table this item to, I don't know, what do you think is an
I would
appropriate?
like to continue hearing just
Okay, yeah.
presentation.
Go ahead, yeah.
So we can
yeah.
have some items to discuss.
Yeah,
I
yeah. go ahead.
think that we should target two different things. One thing is go through the uses and see the parking demand. Maybe we can do an analysis of the clinics. I totally agree with you. So we can do a parking demand of that. And maybe what we change is we change, but then if they come for variances, we all have to remember that we changed it and that is good if we abide by the code. So it will be good to make that analysis, and maybe in those cases, like in the restaurants many years ago, we changed from one parking for each 200, we changed to 150. Maybe in the clinics, we need to do the same thing.
Okay.
We need to establish a number of spaces that they need for the transportation, and then the other number. And the tenant mix is something that it's the business of the owner of the shopping center.
Right.
So I don't know that you can interfere with
It's
that.
this microphone. I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. Every time I touch it,
But you're breathing on it.
no, it's
All right, Deborah, you want to keep
Copy.
this? Let's finish the PowerPoint. Yeah.
Yes,
All
okay.
right, thank you.
Well, so we were talking about the uses. How the buildings can be used. So the base density, 32 units per acre without incentives. And with incentives, you can get up to 70 units per acre. The height is up to 55 feet, and with incentives, you can get to 95 feet. The new parking standard is studios and one bedroom with area less than 700 square feet is one parking space. 1 and 2 bedrooms not exceeding 1,000 square feet, 1.5 parking spaces. And for all others, 2 parking spaces. And then the guest parking spaces that we used to ask for 1 every 4 units. Now we are asking for 1 for every 10 units.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Deborah, do you
Yeah.
mind clarifying what 1.5 parking spaces? means?
Bueno, in the overall.
Okay.
It's not that you're parking on a
Okay.
half space.
Okay. so
In the,
total.
in the overall,
Okay, just wanted to make
you're
sure.
having,
Thank you.
each unit is contributing with
To
half a
1.5.
parking space, so you will end up with 10 parking spaces. If it's a rental, usually the management companies manage that, and they say you get 1 assigned parking space and the rest are guests, or maybe they rent a second space. So some units won't need two spaces, other we need, and it usually works.
Thank you.
Well, another thing that we updated is we included an approval process and timelines, because usually we ask for a declaration of restrictions. So what we want to avoid is speculation. So if you come and you change, you want to develop through the MBD, well, you have 12 months to submit a site plan application, 18 months to get a building permit application, and 24 months to start construction. And then if you don't apply for anything, it expires. And well, that's all. If you want to get into the points and you have questions with that.
So what does the council want to do? Do we want more time to have that discussion, to discuss what specific uses are we going to be seeing in this? Do we want some more time?
You know, I think would be beneficial, Mr. President, I think if maybe we had kind of like a business analysis, a percentage out of the licenses that are issued, how much percentage is, you know, for clinics, how many is for, you know, the series of popular licenses that we've been seeing scattered throughout the city, and then see where there's a need and see which one maybe we should cap at these new locations to kind of infuse some diversity, have some child party locations in our city, have some areas that we could infuse and allow for those businesses to thrive, because they've already, you know, overwhelmed the other side of the city.
So, sure, go ahead. Yes, sir.
Through the chair, if I may, just to be clear, when you're requesting of the administration or planning and zoning that they obtain from occupational licensing, is it that you want BTRs for clinics and doctors, the number that there currently are in this area?
I don't know
Is
what a
that-
BTR, what's a
I mean,
BTR?
the business, you know, tax license, the business tax receipt.
Yeah,
or-
I just want to
is
know
that
the
what you-
percentage, what it's categorized, if we have it categorized as restaurants, how many restaurants in the city are issued a license? Out of all the licenses we have, 25% of the licenses are restaurant license.
Is that something that's? obtained?
35% is
Yeah,
clinic
well-
license, like just to have an
Yeah,
analysis
I'm sure we
of
can
the
get that.
percentages of businesses that we have, you know, running in the city. And then that kind of allows us now to navigate appropriately in this new expansion that we have to kind of diversify what licenses we're limiting to allow other businesses to thrive in these locations. I think that would benefit us.
Is there a way, Deborah, is there a way, maybe this is a question for Jasenia, but is there a way to track trending specific to types of uses or types of licenses that we're seeing lately, right? So like maybe like in the last 3 months, we've seen an influx of you know, beauty salons. Like, do we have that capacity to do that?
We can ask her, yeah, we
Okay.
can ask her if she can provide that. For the ones that we sign, what we have is car repair shops. We have restaurants, clinics, home health agencies, health salons.
Mhm.
We don't have that many restaurants. And I know
Hmm.
for the owners, for example, of the Shoma development or the Pura Vida, that they want a certain type of quality restaurant, it has been difficult for them to get those type of tenants.
Because if I may through the chair, because we have to set the tone. We don't have those anchor restaurants really that we've offered a lot of opportunity here. So of course, nobody wants to invest in this restaurant if we haven't given that, you know, a flavor here in the city. There's not a lot of entertainment. We don't have bowling alleys. We don't have locations for kids to come and throw birthday parties like Doral has. So we have to start considering these new areas as creating these little entertainment hubs, you know, and the rest of the area could be, you know, those clinics, those other businesses that are already here. But I think that we should use this as an opportunity to grow and diversify the businesses that we have in the city.
Well, the way we have done it in the past is how we limit the usage. For example, with the pawn shops, you create a distance separation. Or liquor stores, the same thing. There is a distance separation. So we can make an analysis of how many we have, and then we can go from there. I wouldn't, if you want to table this today, it's okay. I won't stop all the MBD change because there are certain things that are connected to this because we can always go back and change the uses. We can look more into the uses and change that.
But go ahead.
No, I just want to be certain that the planning and zoning director can obtain, because I guess what you're saying, you want the business license category for businesses in general in this area, right? I just want to be sure that it's clear what they're seeking to bring. Okay. Is that it? Okay, all right.
Telling me that, yes, that we can get that.
And I think,
Yeah.
and it's important, I think the councilman brings up a good point, right? To let's see what insight can we gather from the data that we have today? Because maybe, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but maybe we find that, how you just mentioned, right? Which is a great point. We don't have a lot of restaurant licenses popping up. So maybe that could be an incentive point. I don't know, right? That's just like an idea, utilizing leveraging the data that we have to make these types of decisions, right? And then also, so I think it'd be good to table it so we can have that discussion. And I think also, Deborah, just to put on the record, and I'll work with you on this and the administration, I'd like to see the council more involved in the point process, right? So I think we could put something together, bring it back to the council for review.
So you would want every MBD project to come through you?
No. I think there could be, because I'm thinking about this, right? So we have different areas where as of right, I think as of right, sometimes they won't even come to the city or for council approval. I think when buildings go up, the ones that have to respond are the ones up here, right? So I think if we can grant some more insight or oversight, right, from this council when it comes to the pointing system, I think it'll be a lot better for all of us to be more equipped. But we can figure out what that looks like and then bring it back to the council.
Okay, so you mean, because there are no variances for the incentive.
Right.
Maybe we can remove that, and then if there's many ways how you can get the points. Are these features that you can do, or we created certain type of contributions that you can make for the High Line, for improvements of the right of way surrounding that in relation to the Vision Zero plan? That is a plan that marked where there are accents, so there are many some minor improvements that you can do. So there are alternatives, but there could be some special circumstances where they don't meet that. So we can add some language that in those circumstances they can come before
If
you.
I may, I have one more.
Yes, ma'am.
Two more things. Number one, the presentation that you sent us, is that possible that you could email it to us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then number two, in that diversified group that we're gonna get of the licenses, can we have maybe and I'm asking because I know that I had something similar when I did the vaping. Remember that I did Yesenia did the map of the city of Hialeah, and then we put the plotted points where they are in comparison to schools and churches and parks, and we had kind of those dots on the map to visualize. Is there, can we do that map and then have the top 5 percentage licensed businesses plotted on the map to see if maybe it's a cluster of locations where these businesses are? Not all the businesses, just the ones that we have the most, maybe the top 5 out of the percentages that we
We
get.
can do a map with different layers. We can do a layer for restaurants. We can do a layer for, I don't know, clinics, and then you can turn them on all
Right.
together. Or
Just
you
the
can
the
look at
highest
each
ones, I
layer.
would say, yeah, just to kind of have an idea where these licenses are being issued and see
Yeah.
if there's a cluster of locations where we need to focus on. And
How much time you need for this, Deborah? You want to do 2 weeks,
No,
or you
that's
want to do
easy.
in
that's
December? What do
easy
you
now
want?
with the new program, they just click.
Well,
print.
no, it's not that easy.
So let's do the first meeting in December. You good with that? First meeting in December?
I don't want to compromise because it doesn't depend only on me.
January.
The GIS, someone else has to do
So let's
it.
do,
It's
you
not
want to
something
kick off
that
the new
I-
year? Let's do the first meeting in January.
Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion to table till January?
It's gonna take that long.
You mean you want to continue it? Is that?
We want a motion to table until
Okay.
January, and we have a motion by Councilman Calvo.
I'll
Yeah,
do a second then.
yeah, and we have a second by Perez. Call the roll, please.
Do we have to say the
Mr.
city?
Rodriguez,
We don't have to say
First
the city.
meeting in January.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yeah.
Ms. De La Vega,
Oh, it's mine
Yes.
again. Watch, everybody turn theirs off. Everyone turn theirs off.
Ms.
See?
De La Vega,
I think it's mine.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is postponed until January 14th, 2025.
Okay, item E.
I'm just making sure everybody's awake.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending chapter 70 entitled Retirement and Pension, Article 4, Employees General Retirement System, Division 5, entitled Benefits, implementing the changes to the retirement system contained in the memorandum of understanding between the city and IAFF, Local 1102, for firefighter members, in particular revising section 70-238 entitled Service Retirement Allowance, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties hereof, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an interpretation and savings clause, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this item's in first reading. Do we have any council discussion? Motion. Do we have a motion by Councilman Zogby? We have a second by Rodriguez. Please call the roll.
Mr. Tumnidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo, Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 12th, 2024.
All right, item F.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98 entitled Zoning, Article 6, Supplementary District Regulations, Division 10, Parking, amending Section 98-2189, Minimum Required Off-Street Parking Spaces, Section number 16, Neighborhood Business District, to revise the permitted parking uses, clarify the residential and commercial use standards, and to improve the zoning regulations, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this is in first reading. Do you have any council discussion on this item?
Yeah,
A companion to this? Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
should be tabled, right?
Yeah, so do you, Deborah, yeah, so we have a motion. Do we have a motion to table?
Motion to table.
A motion by Councilman Rodriguez and second by Calvo. This is gonna be tabled to when? To
January
the same one in
14th.
January.
What time?
First meeting in January. Yes, sir.
What time?
Yes, sir, January 14th. You're right.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumnidor.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is postponed until January 14th, 2025.
All right, item G.
Proposed resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Hialeah expressing its intent to approve and adopt text amendments to the future land use element of the city of Hialeah, Florida, comprehensive plan, and providing for an effective date.
All right, so this is a resolution that has to do with the affordable housing ordinance that we've been working on for the last 10 months. We were gonna have a presentation, but then I was told that first we need to have this resolution hopefully approved and then sent to the state. That could take between 45 to 60 days. And then when it comes back, we can go ahead and take on the ordinance, right? The zoning aspect of it. Is that?
When it comes, and again, Deborah Storch, Planning and Zoning Director, City of Hialeah. Once it comes from the state, we have to adopt that. So then we will have an amendment in the comprehensive plan that will allow us to have up to 100 units per acre in the MBD. So then comes we can run both concurrently. Well, no, because it goes back to the state and then it needs to come approved. And then comes the ordinance of the affordable housing that once that we have established in the comprehensive plan that we can have up to 100 units per acre, that ordinance will regulate what happens with those 30 units more per acre that we are getting.
Yeah.
And that is when you will get that.
Okay,
ordinance.
perfect. And just to kind of again, bring everyone up to speed on this aspect of it. And then obviously, once we get to the zoning part of it, we can dive into the details. But after much conversation with our task force that not only included affordable housing developers, but also our public housing director, Miami-Dade County public housing director, our zoning director, and a couple architects as well, we figured that the best way to approach this, or at least to start, is right in the middle between our traditional NBD and our TOD. So at this moment, NBD is about 70 units per acre. That's the max that you can get. Our TOD is 125 units per acre. And so this affordable housing approach or program would come to 100 units per acre right in the middle. The idea would be that the net gain from the 70, right? So the 100, we would be able to figure out how to leverage to be able to obtain affordable housing units in collaboration with the private sector. So in other words, again, we went back and forth receiving feedback from the industry, and the best way the way that everyone had agreed upon was utilizing the new 30 units that you're getting per acre. Half of them would be affordable, and then the other half would be an incentive, a density incentive to be able to roll out the affordable units, right? So now there's been much conversation regarding what is truly affordable, right? And the mayor has spoken about it here. We've all talked about how things like Live Local, which has great intentions, actually do great harm to communities like Hialeah or Flagami, or and so when you look at Live Local, the incentive is 75% of taxes deferred for 40 units, for 40% of those units at 120% of the AMI. So 120% of the AMI for a 1-1 in today's market is over $2,500 a month. And so that's market, that's above market in Hialeah in some places. So we know that doesn't work, right? So the idea was, when we sat down with the administration, the mayor, the whole team, we asked ourselves, well, what is the need in Hialeah? And so we were able to cross-reference not only we cross-reference what the median income is in Hialeah, and we tied it to the AMI. And so the need in Hialeah is roughly between 60 to 80% AMI. That comes out to approximately, for a 1-1, between $1,200 to about, I believe it's like $1,500 a month. We want to be very conscious about this and no wiggle room. So we want to put emphasis on the 60% AMI. So again, in other words, the new 30 units that we're getting per acre, half of them are going to be at 60% AMI, and then the other half is going to serve as an incentive, so they can utilize that at market rent. And so that was the approach. Even with that, we still had developers telling us it doesn't work without subsidies, right? Well, we can't please everyone. I think we had some very, very big players in the affordable housing space on the task force that said, hey, that works for us. We'll go find the subsidies at the state, or we'll go find the subsidies at the county. And so again, we don't anticipate that everyone's going to use this ordinance. Look at the city of Miami. City of Miami has extremely strict affordable housing regulations. And when you ask what's been the utilization, it's been close to 5%. So I didn't want to pass something either that was not going to be utilized, right? That's just another law in the books, just to say that we did something. I wanted to make sure that what we presented here at some point on this day is an ordinance that actually will be utilized and will provide affordable housing. Julio Ponce does a great job in Hialeah housing. I think that's we lead in affordable housing within the city of Hialeah. Again, this program was something that the mayor and I had discussed and said, hey, what else can we do on top of what Julio does? And the next best thing was, hey, let's work with the private sector to see what we can do. So, I know that we've been crafting little details as far as the specifics of the program. We also discussed a payment in lieu of, so creating a housing fund that would provide developers with the opportunity to pay into the fund versus providing affordable rents. And we're still figuring out how that program or how that housing fund would be utilized. That we have had high level discussions, maybe creating a temporary subsidy program, right? That would assist folks making 60% of the AMI or living within 60% of AMI. Covering whatever the rent might be up until maybe 120% of the AMI. So those are things, again, that haven't been completed yet, but we are working on them, and I hope to get some feedback and some insight from the council.
Got it. Let me
Yep.
just
Yeah.
add something. There's as we continue to work on this thing, there's a lot of things to take into consideration that are affecting all of this, okay? And I've said this before, the insurance market is completely out of whack. If you talk to some of the developers and you hear the rates that they're paying in insurance, they have no choice. They have no other avenue than to pass that on or part of that to their tenants. So this is a problem. And cost of construction is also playing a big role in this thing. And I met recently with a developer and he was talking about a project here, and here we're talking to him about incentivizing to be able to build a little bit higher, to add more units. In exchange for that, we get some units that could be, to meet some of these thresholds. And the response is, Mayor, even with the concessions, I don't know if I could build it because of the cost of construction. So there's so many things here at play. And I've said this before, over the course of the year. We have a lot to say when we control the land, and we don't have a lot of land. We just don't. So, whatever little pockets that we may be able that considered surplus land, entre comillas, to be able to put that in play, that's your biggest contribution. And, I know some people don't like to hear it. This city's going to have to start going vertical, but then there's a challenge even in that, because that vertical construction is costlier. And we're not going to be able, in many times, to get the units that we want, as far as the price level of what we want. And the other thing that I've said here, and it may come a time that the council is going to have to deal with what the city has done over the course of the years in little bites. Is we know we have rampant subunits, additional units in our neighborhoods, which have been impacted by what's going on here. I'm talking about the garage converted into an apartment, the house bifurcated, the porch that's been closed in. This is a reality of life in the city of Hialeah. It's just a reality of it. And I don't know what the right way of doing it. There's going to be a change now in the property appraiser's office. Maybe there needs to be a sit down on how we evaluate these kind of properties. I know people are doing jujitsu now in order to be able to just afford the insurance hikes that they're getting on their homes. This is not, I need an extra unit or I turn the garage so I could go on vacation. No, caballero, this has changed now. People just to keep their homes are having to do things that goes against maybe their thought process. And so, Council President, as we continue to work on this, and I know you've taken a lot of leadership on this issue, you need to maybe also envelop this into the conversation. Should there be overlays, a pilot overlays? I mean, I know that the councils in the past did an in-law quarter type legislation. We've done things like the reoccupancy certification to make sure there's no extra units and all that. Look, the reality is you could pass the recertification, they gone, and then you're closing what you opened. I mean, it's just, we need to be realistic. I know we took some bold steps with the issue of the RVs, which was the right thing to do. But I'm telling you, this is only gonna get worse and worse and worse before it gets better. We're getting hit with hurricanes. There's gonna be a price to pay for that. 45% increase in insurance in North Carolina now. They're pulling out of Northern California. You can't get fire insurance for units there. I mean, there's a lot here at play, and ultimately local governments where they're going to come and complain, and we're going to have to. I don't know the answer to it. We're going to have to really dive into this deeply and try to understand this. But it's to me, our best efforts may not be enough. We got to go through it, but again, we need to have everything on the table. Let's put everything on the table and then figure out and have this dialogue with our residents. You hear the complaints about parking and not enough parking. How many people living in a home? That's just a reality of our city. It is, so anyways.
Well, the other reality that we have to take into account is that each time we have less ownerships and we have more investors. Yeah. And I have lots of meeting with people, oh, we bought with this home, we want to do daycare, we want to do an ALF, we want to do a triplex, or we want to do a quadruplex. So that is something also that we have to think about.
Let me ask you something, Deborah, on that note. And I don't know, maybe this is a legal question, but would it be appropriate for the city to also include certain points for condos? Is if we know, right, looking at the data, that the problem is, right, not the problem, but that we're seeing a surge in rental properties in Hialeah, then would it be possible to be able to offer incentive points for condos specifically?
I think that certainly when this affordable housing that the city is involved with, and with projects that are a public-private, yes, the answer is yes. With private projects, I think it has to be studied as to what the situation would be, what would be offhand, Council President, the quid pro quo, or what would be the basis of that bargain? Because again, I understand the concerns about lack of ownership, but developers may raise their private property rights, concerns. We own the land. We want to market it as, so so I think the answer is clear when it's a public, or at least partially public project. The other ones, I think it has to be studied.
Perfect.
Yeah, and also on the condo, I think that the market will dictate what will happen.
Right.
Because you will have this trend of the condo conversion. We are having now some projects that are coming as condo, and some that they were thinking on doing doing rentals. Now they're thinking on condo. So
Yeah.
I think that the market is the one that
Perfect.
will
Yeah.
dictate.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Deborah. We have a motion.
Motion.
We have a motion by the Vice President.
Second.
We have a second by Zogby.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All righty. All right. So moving on to unfinished business or new business.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just two things. Number one, so we approved it. I believe it was not maybe the last meeting or the meeting before that. We approved this Brownsfield site up in the annex. I saw something else about the site in Okeechobee, and just food for thought. Maybe it's worth tracking it down. This program by the state offers huge tax incentives and a series of other incentives when it comes to the remediation of properties that are contaminated. And so when I did the budget meeting that, we all attended, during that budget meeting, we talked about having some capital investments in the annex area for the construction of a library, actual police and fire station, what have you. That's city-owned land. And, the sticker shock for that project was that it's, many millions of dollars in order to fund the first couple of years of the capital improvement, which is the environmental study, and then the actual remediation of the site. I think maybe this is, just by coincidence, an opportunity for the city to investigate whether or not it can designate that site as a Brownsfield site. I believe other municipalities have done it with their own property in the past. And in a sense, the city could save significant amount of money when it comes to these remediation efforts that are already planned as part of the approved budget.
I want to say on that note, I did ask someone, I think Deborah asked if that property would be eligible for Brownsfield.
That property won't be eligible because for
Okay.
for the property to be eligible, since that site and other surrounding sites were former landfills, they will all need to get together and request this. And many of those have different ownerships. It's not that you have one owner that owns anything. That's one aspect. And the other aspect is that the way that it was developed, it's already the remediation that they have works as a system. If you go to those parks, there are some monitoring wells and things of that sort that are part of the system of those warehouses that are there. So the way that we mitigate that will need to be consistent with what was already done there. So we scheduled an appointment, then the hurricane erased it, but we are meeting with this attorney and we're going to research this for
Right.
future projects, but we don't think it will be applicable
Well,
in
I mean, look,
this area for
you
what
know,
we researched
Exactly,
until now.
exactly.
Yeah.
To the extent that it can be done, it can be done. And then, obviously we do own other sites throughout the city. And so maybe those are, potential, beneficiaries of this plan to the extent it can, thank you. And then, so the other thing I wanted to say, so this is obviously my last council meeting. Just wanted to address my colleagues, wanted to address the staff and the employees of the city of Hialeah. Thank you so much for the last 3 years that we've been together. Thank you, obviously, to the residents, to electing me to this position. I feel quite humbled and privileged to have sat here over the course of the last 3 years. My parents, like many of our parents here, immigrated from Cuba seeking a better future in the city of Hialeah. They made their livelihood here. I was born and raised in the city. And so for me, it was the utmost honor to be able to serve, to be able to be part of this democratic process of having been involved not only in one, but in 2 elections. And I just feel quite honored and quite happy to have done my 3 years. And I wish you all the best of luck. I know you guys have a lot of very tough issues to tackle in the future. And to any extent that, I can be of help, obviously I'll continue to be helping and serving in the city of Hialeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman. All right. So any land use amendments?
No, sir.
No? All right, moving on to zoning.
Will all those persons who will be testifying on an item, please stand and raise your right hand.
Las personas que quisieran prestar sus opiniones delante de esta junta, por favor, pónganse de pie y alcen la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. If so, say I do.
¿Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a dar será la verdad, toda la verdad y únicamente la verdad y que Dios sea su testigo? Por favor, digan que sí si la respuesta es afirmativa.
Let the record reflect that all have responded in the affirmative.
En el archivo público constará que todos han respondido afirmativamente.
All right, item A.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a variance permit to allow 238 parking spaces where 243 parking spaces are required and 10.03% pervious area where 18% is the minimum pervious area required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-2189, subsection 3, and paragraph E of the City of Hialeah Landscape Manual dated December 13, 2022. Entitled Tree and Lawn Requirements by Zoning Classification. Property is located at 1900 West 60th Street, Hialeah, Zone C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District, and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
This item is a second reading. Do we have any public comments?
No, sir.
All right, council discussion?
Motion.
Motion by the Vice President, second by Zogby.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tunidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Item B.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R1, one family district to R31, multiple family district. Granting a conditional use permit to allow a K-1 grade school with a maximum capacity of 19 students. Granting a variance permit to allow an interior west side setback of 4.97 feet where 10 feet are required. A variance permit to allow an interior east side setback of 4 feet 6 inches where 10 feet are required. A variance permit to allow a rear setback of 15.39 feet where 20 feet are required. And a variance permit to allow 4 parking spaces where 13 parking spaces are required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, sections 98-590, 98-591, and 98-2189, subsection 9. Property located at 441 West 11th Street and 445 West 11th Street. Hialeah zoned R1, one family district, and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this item is the second reading. Do we have any public comments? Do you have any council discussion? Do we have a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion by everybody. Motion by Zogby, and we have a second by the vice president. Please call the roll.
Ms. De La Vega, Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All righty. Congratulations. Do we have the, those are the owners back there? Oh, we want to hear some words from you. Venga. No, oh yeah, I'm just kidding. I know it's late. Oh yeah, thank you guys for being here, okay? Yeah. Perfect. All right, you take care. All right, felicidades. All right, item C.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a conditional use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-181, to allow a kindergarten class with a maximum capacity of 23 students in conjunction with a 73 children daycare. Property located at 1575 West 42nd Street, units 4203, 4205, 4231, and 4235. Hialeah zoned C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, so we've already taken this item in first reading. This is in second reading. Do we have any public comments?
No, sir.
All right, do we have any council discussion? What's the pleasure?
Motion.
Motion by Rodriguez, second by Perez. Call the roll.
Ms. Perez, Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Item D.
First reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R1, one family district to R35, multiple family district, granting a variance permit to allow a front setback of 10 feet where 25 feet is the minimum required, allowing an interior east and west side setback of 5 feet where 10 feet is the minimum required. Allow a rear setback of 5 feet where 20 feet is the minimum required, and allow 27% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, sections 98-589, 98-590, 98-591, and the Hialeah Landscape Manual dated December 13, 2022, Section E, entitled Tree and Lawn Requirements by Zoning Classification. Property located at 533 East 22nd Street, zoned R1, one family district, and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this item's in first reading. Alex?
Yes.
Oh, name and address, please.
Alex Raniela, 533 East 22th Street, Hialeah.
Okay, what do you want to do here, Alex?
Was a fourplex. We do a fourplex again.
Oh, because that is the one that burnt down?
Yeah.
Oh, because that's why. So why is it in first reading? Was it a different was it a different property?
Same one.
It was land use.
Why is it in first reading? Hmm. And he didn't represent that property too?
He looks familiar.
Sure does.
This is first reading or no?
No, second.
Second reading.
So why does the ordinance says first reading?
It says first reading.
Yeah.
It's the first reading, yes, because it came to planning and zoning on September 25th and was scheduled for the meeting that was canceled, so it's first.
No,
This is first reading, that's correct.
No, he's come to us already. This is our second reading, right? You've already come before us. Yes. This is his fourth time.
Let
so he
me,
came
let me
twice.
look up the minutes of the last meeting.
I know exactly what, this is the one that burnt down, the floor
be you.
plans. And the property next door is also down.
Well, it's.
No,
I mean,
he's
we
been
just have to
here.
check.
I know exactly the property because
Easy.
the
Okay,
next door
you're gonna
neighbor
check.
also has.
Yeah, I'm checking.
She's gonna check now, Ms. Perez.
Well, just
But it's the
Easy,
second.
easy.
voting.
We gotta let the public speak.
September
Public is speaking.
twice to the planning and zoning. He came twice to the planning and zoning board. He
Oh.
came on September 11 and then on September, that was tabled. and
No,
then he
Deborah, he's
came
been
on
here.
September 25th.
No, Deborah, he was here with us. I know exactly which property it is because I know the owner next door. And the owner, I know this case. He already came before us.
Ms. Perez doesn't see a lot of people, so she recognizes,
Yes.
you know, so.
I have a photographic memory. I'm sorry.
We will have to look at the records because from September 25th, this is the first meeting available for city council, so.
Okay. So in the
I'm
minutes
gonna
of
tell
the,
you exactly what.
Hold on, let the city clerk, go ahead.
in the minutes of the city council meeting of September 24, it reflects that we approved on second reading this exact address for amending the future land use map from low density residential to
exactly.
high
So-
density residential.
Okay, so you
The
met
land
him
use.
when he
Right,
came for the
which
land
has to be
use.
done first.
Yeah.
Got it. And then this is
Always
zoning
has to
now.
be done first.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is the rezoning, this is the implementation of the land use.
It was
Land use is first.
September 10th.
That's correct.
Right.
Oh, Councilwoman Perez wanted to table this till January for you.
Okay.
No, he was here September 10th.
September 10th was first reading, second reading, September 24th.
That's
Right.
right. All right,
Okay.
so we're in first
the land
reading.
use,
All
yes.
right, perfect. Thank you so much. So we have a motion
Motion.
by
Second.
Councilman Zapian with a second by Perez. Or I'm
No,
sorry,
because-
Melinda De La Vega, sorry. De La Vega.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zagvi?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 12th, 2024.
Thank you. Sorry about that. It's Calpo's fault. All right, item E.
What's his item? Because he looks like he wants to get out of here already.
Almost there.
What item is yours?
All right. Oh, all right, item E, please read to the record.
First reading of proposed ordinance granting a conditional use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-181, to allow a kindergarten class with a maximum capacity of 22 students in conjunction with an 81 children daycare, property located at 5378 West 16th Avenue, Unit 5356, Hialeah, zoned C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District, and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
All right, this item is in first reading. Sir, name and address, please.
Cesar Mestre with offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida.
You got something for us here today?
Yeah, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version if you want something
Please,
a little
yes.
bigger. I'll make it longer.
Absolutely.
I have a presentation, but I can skip it.
Are you
It's one of the
spelling
last
correctly?
schools,
Is it Ginny or Jenny?
Jenny's, JINNY.
Okay, got it.
And the owner's on Zoom,
Great.
just so you know. It's a school that opened in 2000. It's at the shopping center where La Carreta is. We've agreed with the conditions that the zoning director recommended, which is to make sure the dumpsters have enclosures. There's a area in front of the doors that's set aside for pickup and drop off. So it's been around since 2000. We have a recommendation of approval from staff, and we have a recommendation of approval from P and Z. You have any further questions, or you'd like to see the presentation?
Motion.
I'll be more than good.
All right, we have a motion by,
Through the chair.
yes, ma'am, go ahead.
What, is this a daycare or is it a? school?
It's a daycare that has 81 students, 81 daycare students, but it's only a kindergarten for education. What you're approving is the kindergarten with 22 student maximum.
So daycare through kinder. Is that what it is?
I'm sorry?
Daycare through kinder?
Yes, that's it. Only kindergarten.
I have a question. And again, I don't know much about, but so daycare schools, because kindergarten is considered school, right? So is this?
Yes, and actually it depends on different jurisdictions treated a little bit different.
Okay.
But for Hialeah purposes, you need an educational conditional use permit to have it.
Are they currently running or is this, this is, so they're
This
currently
is,
in
this
business?
has been there since 2000. And what they're trying to do is legalize what they have. They're not
Okay.
trying to expand at all.
Understood. Thank you.
What's the name of it? What's the name of the school?
JINNY.
Of the
It's an-
school?
It's all one business.
Where is it? Next to
La
what?
Carreta, it's on the extreme south west corner. I can show you.
In the corner area by the
Yeah.
vet?
I'll show it to you right now. Next, you see where the red circle is? Go back to the other one. See where the red circle is?
Yeah,
On the-
I have to open the,
It's right there in that corner,
oh, in the other.
right across
corner.
the street from the elderly, well, correct.
Okay. The others,
That's why they're able to have their own little area for
Right.
pickup and drop off,
right? 'cause
which I can
it's-
show you a picture of there.
Yeah, because it's that's where it ends. It has like an opening.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I
The
know.
pictures
exactly.
There, that's the end. You
Yeah.
see they have the markings and that area is marked
Yeah,
up for them.
I got it. All right.
What's next door? Is it an alcohol shop, a liquor store next door?
I think it's a smoke. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
There's a nail tech place. And then there's Sedano's.
Okay. Interesting. Is Jenny on? Is Jenny on by any chance?
She's on Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe so.
is that her? Jenny, are you on?
They let her in. Her name is actually Luz Lady.
Her name's who?
Luz Lady.
Oh, Luz Lady.
Yes, I'm here.
Luz Lady, how are you?
Yulaima Hernandez.
Yulaima.
Oh, Yulaima.
Yulaima Hernandez.
Ah, Yulaima. ¿Quién es Jenny, Yulaima?
Janice is the name of the center.
Oh, okay, okay. They named it after someone.
Yeah, no,
Eh,
from a
wait,
family.
So just out of curiosity, how long have you been in this location?
Well, for me as a new owner for 4 years, 4 years, the place would be open for 24 years since 2004.
Okay, and then so how long of those 24 years were you a daycare?
That it's been school since I think 2002.
Okay.
2002. Since it's
2002.
school. As a daycare, it was in 2000.
Okay, so in 2002, you started school. Up to what
Yes.
grade? Is it a second grade, third grade?
It used to be until second grade before, but we just want to do until kindergarten.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Have a good
No,
night.
thank you, thank you.
Any other council discussion? We have a motion on the table.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the table by Councilman Calvo, and we have a second by Councilwoman Perez. Please call the roll.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 12th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Item F.
First reading of proposed ordinance approving a final plat of Lightway North, accepting all dedication of avenues, streets, roads, or other public ways, together with all existing and future planting of trees, shrubbery, and fire hydrants. Property legally described more particularly in Exhibit A, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item's in first reading. Do we have any council discussion?
Motion.
We have a motion by Calvo. Second. We have a second by Zogby. Please call the roll.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 12th, 2024.
Item G.
First reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R1, one family district to R2, 1 and 2 family district, granting a variance permit to replat the property into 2 substandard lots and to allow the construction of a duplex on each substandard lot, having a frontage of approximately 65 feet and 50.5 feet and a total lot area of approximately 5,200 square feet and 4,040 square feet, where frontage of 75 feet and total lot area of 7,500 square feet are required. Granting a variance permit to allow the following setback adjustments for the northern lot. Allowing a front setback of 10 feet where 25 feet are required. Allowing an interior south side setback of 5 feet where 7.5 feet are required. Allowing a rear setback of 5 feet where 25 feet are required. And allowing 46% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. Granting a variance permit to allow the following setback adjustments for the southern lot. Allowing a front setback of 10 feet where 25 feet is required. Allowing a street side setback of 10 feet where 15 feet are required. Allowing a rear setback of 5 feet where 7.5 feet are required. Allowing an interior north side setback of 5 feet and 1 inch where 25 feet are required. Allowing 59% lot coverage where 30% is the maximum allowed. And allowing 22% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. All in contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section. The section is missing in the header of the ordinance. And the Hialeah Landscape Manual dated December 13, 2022, section E entitled Tree and Lawn Requirements by Zoning Classification, property located at 501 East 8th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
This item's in first reading. Do we have any council discussion?
Is there someone,
Yes, ma'am. Huh?
I just had some questions, I guess. What are they actually doing?
Yeah,
here? They-
Deborah, can you come on? Do we have Gino on? Is it Gino the owner? Gino Dominico? There's no one else online?
I think that Frank is representing them, no? Frank, these are your duplexes.
Are you lobbying for Gino?
I have a, build a contract with the property owner. I can answer any technical questions regarding the project and the technical issues, but I'm not lobbying in favor of.
Okay, so city attorney?
Yeah, I'll clarify. We have stated that under our lobbying ordinance, so when an architect or an engineer is here to answer technical questions or act like an expert witness, they're not lobbying per our ordinance, and this is the common practice. But when they're coming here as the person to advocate, like vote for this project, then they would be classified as lobbyists.
So he says he's an architect or an engineer?
That's what,
I am a contractor, and we have what is called in the Florida statute, design build. And that's what the agreement that we have with the owner, we have hired the architect, and we will be building the project.
so.
I'm here
right.
as a contractor.
So again, we haven't met with him to give him a particular opinion, but again, basically to make it very simple, if you're an architect or engineer, let's say he's acting like that, if you're coming here to answer technical questions and say, well, this project has this height, it has this setback, it has these measurements, it has these features, that's not lobbying. But if you're coming here to speak and there's no one else to speak and you're being paid to do that, you're a lobbyist.
No, understood. No, I just want to
Okay,
make, I
didn't
just
know
want to
what the
make sure we're
confusion was.
following. No,
You know,
because-
that's what the rule is.
right. So if he says he's an architect or an engineer, then it's okay. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but to answer technical questions, he's
What?
not supposed to be here
Got it.
acting like Hugo Arza, advocating
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
okay, or whoever, or
Who's
Brian
Hugo Arza?
May, or, whoever it is,
Those
that,
guys. Okay, I
you
got
know
it.
who I mean.
All right, so,
That,
all right,
that's
so,
the difference.
got it, understood. So, Mr. Engineer, just name and address, and then, she has some technical questions, right, Melinda? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Okay,
My name is Frank De La Paz, 11000 Southwest 104th Street, Miami, 33176, number 1210. On behalf of HUD Builders and Casa de Construction Services.
thank you, ma'am.
Mr. De La Paz, so I just want to understand what is in front of us, right? So this is a residence house and we are asking to allow for us to do it into a duplex? Is that what it is?
Well, let me explain.
Yes.
This is a lot, like a tract. And there was one residence there, so R1. Now what he wants to do is replat the property and like instead of going facing East 8th Street, now the lots will face E 5th Avenue. Since the standard dimension for a lot is 75 by 100, he's asking for a variance to replat the property into two substandard lots. And then he wants to rezone the property to R2 and to build a duplex in each of the substandard lots. One will be facing East 8th Street, and the other one will be facing East Fifth Avenue. So one of the properties, the one facing East Fifth Street, will have like a covered garage with gates for the 4 cars, 2 for each duplex, and then the other one will have the entrance on East Fifth Avenue, and the cars will be parking there the same way, but with a driveway.
Is this house, or is this resident currently occupied or, because I see it, the picture that comes up has the gates closed with locks and stuff. I'm just curious. Is it?
Yeah, and maybe it's under contract or the owner bought it. I really don't know.
Okay.
The owner owns it. It's a very old dilapidated house.
But he doesn't live there. He bought it as an investment to redevelop.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
They're all the duplexes on the block here.
Okay.
Yeah, there are. All right, sounds good. Do we have any other council discussion?
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Calvo. We have a second by Councilman Zaghi. Please call a roll.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zaghi.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 2024.
I'll make sure the principal is here. He was confused because the meeting of last was canceled.
Okay,
So,
got it. Does he own Dominico's Pizza by any chance or no?
no, he owns, no.
No, got it. Don't tell me what he owns. Okay, got it. No, worries. Fine. Thank you. Dominico's, yeah, it's a good place.
But he's,
They one of my legs. They have one in Hialeah
no,
Gardens
no,
and
no,
they shut
but
down.
he's from Romania.
Oh, Cubanía.
Romania.
Oh, Romania.
Romania.
Oh, you mean he's Roman?
Romanian?
No, la Romanita. He owns la Romanita, is what I'm saying.
The Romans and the Gypsies, like my family.
Councilman Calvo says that he owns la Romanita.
We all
Is that?
gypsies.
Romanian.
Okay, thank you,
That's like
Frank.
Lewis.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, item H.
First reading,
No.
first reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from RO Residential Office District to OPS Offices and Professional Services District. Granting a variance permit to allow 16 parking spaces where 29 parking spaces are required. Allow a front setback of 13 feet where 20 feet are required. Allowing a rear setback of 8.11 feet where 15 feet are required. Allowing the existing front and corner sides landscape buffer between the off-street parking and right-of-way of 1 foot and 8 inches where 7-foot landscape buffer is required. And allowing 10.4% pervious area where 30% is a minimum required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-2189, subsection 4, 98-1021, subsection 1, 98-1026, subsection 2. The Hialeah Landscape Manual dated December 13, 2022, section D, entitled Shrubs, Vines, Ground Covers, Mulch Buffers, Plant Quality, Stormwater Retention and Detention Areas, Native Species, and Landscape Mitigation. And section 11 entitled Tree and Lawn Requirement by Zoning Classification. Property located at 3499 West 4th Avenue, Hialeah, zoned RO Residential Office District and legally described herein. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item's in first reading. Deborah, I just want to make sure here you recommended approval with a condition to remove a word from the wall. Where
The word clinic.
the word clinic.
Yes, because in OPS and in residential office, you cannot have clinics. You can have medical offices.
Okay, got it. And so what is this gonna be then?
Medical office.
It's gonna stay what it is.
Okay,
He's a weight loss doctor.
okay.
Been there for many years.
Ozempic and stuff, is that, he does? Very reputable.
He actually does the surgery.
He is. Oh, wow, okay, got it. Got it.
Very
Oh.
well, very well known.
Very one on this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Motion.
All right, we have,
Second.
we have a motion and we have a couple of seconds. We have a motion by Zogby and a second by, Melinda.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for November 2024.
Perfect,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Manolito, Manu. Yeah,
You're up, buddy.
you're up, buddy. Oh, wait a minute, we're closing now.
Proposed resolution approving the final decision of the Planning and Zoning Board, decision number 2024-08, allowing a rear setback of 7.1 feet, where 7.5 feet are required, and allowing a street side setback of 7.70 feet, where 15 feet are required for a 365 square feet accessory building to be legalized. Property located at 10 West 63rd Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one family district, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we have any council discussion?
Deborah? Can you just clarify really quick?
Well, he built this structure as a gazebo with permits and now wants to enclose it, so it's no longer a gazebo, it's now an accessory building. So he's asking for a final decision to allow a rear setback of 7.1 feet, where 7.5 are required, and a street side setback of 7.70, where 15 are required. It used to be an open structure and now will be an enclosed structure. So there are many conditions on this, like the property shall provide pervious area of 30%. No second access and curb cut will be built along Palm Avenue because this is next already to a curb cut. The accessory
It's
building
next to a
will
what?
to another curb cut.
A curb
So
cut.
like the place like a driveway.
Oh, a driveway.
It's a cut in the curb where the car enters, so you don't want to have so many one next to the other one because you will be interrupting the flow of traffic.
What's the
Yeah.
address on this? Cause I only
That's
see,
six-
I only see 10 West.
10 West
Oh, it's the- hold on,
63rd
hold on.
Street.
Señor, ¿y esto qué va a hacer? ¿Usted habla inglés?
Oh, nombre y dirección, por favor.
Nombre y dirección.
Para récord.
And you're gonna have to translate it into the,
¿Quiere hablar en
public,
inglés?
record.
Okay.
So the clerk will translate it or the
Yeah, I'll be
assistant,
translating.
the assistant.
Ya.
clerk.
Manuel Rodríguez,
No, Rodriguez,
10 West,
10 West,
10 West, 63 Street.
63rd Street.
Ujú. Okay. ¿Me
Es
puede
cierto.
explicar?
Mi casa es chiquita
Mhm. My house is small,
y se nos acumulan muchas cosas y tenemos que tener un storage.
so a lot
Además
of things
que
were undone, so there needs to be storage.
hago trabajos manuales y no tengo dónde hacerlo.
Ah, okay. Es la casa en la esquina que tiene como una cerca bonita.
Is that the
Esa.
house?
This one. So the gazebo is like a concrete with tile already huge structure right now. Okay. Pero eso no va a ser para nadie vivir ahí, no vas a tener, es para tu personal
No,
tener
tiene un roll-up y todo. Si ven el plano, tiene un roll-up que es para
Ujú.
entrar yo
como un garaje.
It has a roll up
Efectivamente.
in the
Okay.
back of the structure.
Le compré un ataúd a mi suegra y todo que guardar. para que no se me eche el
Tiene espacio para otro.
All right, yeah, this is the house. Very nice house. Y me gusta el letrero que tiene enfrente de la casa.
¿Qué
I
tiene?
like the sign that's in
El
front of the
letrero que tiene
house.
enfrente de la casa.
I like the
Sí,
sign
soy
in front of the
de
house.
la re ultra derecha.
Sí.
Ultra right.
Por poco me caigo.
Yeah.
I almost
Yeah.
will fall.
All right, motion.
Motion by Councilwoman Perez, and we have a second by Councilman Zogby.
Ms. De La Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Muchas gracias.
Ya fue
So
aprobado.
much.
Gracias.
Councilman Calvo, I just wanted, just real quick before you leave, this is your last meeting. It's been a fun time. You know, we've had our ups and our downs, but, but thank you for your service.
Thank you.
We wish you the best.